Hey guys, Dylan here. Today Christian has done something insane. Well, not really today, a couple days ago, the 22nd. And I wanted to read this. I got caught up in some stupid stuff with people, so I didn't have time to cover this. So now we get to cover Christian's retcon of his own creation. And this is kind of a pseudo response to the video I did on him the other day. I did a video on him where I explained his tweet thread involving him not being blood related to Sonichu. So this is kind of like a sequel to that, a follow-up to that. Someone asked Chris, wait, so Sonichu and Rosachu call you mother because you discovered them. Why? And why do you keep calling yourself the creator of Sonichu when you just chronicle him? Creating and chronicling are two different things. And Chris says, I have been pondering further in this question since my think piece caused the question to arise. When an original creator discovers their original creation in their imaginations or makes one, they actually do create the individual. And then the OC, I'm just gonna say OC because I fucking hate what he does, gets retroactively spawned into existence in C197, complete with their respective birth cloning process. I don't think you know what that means. Hatching, epic, permanent. Oh, okay. So he's referencing being born as a child, being cloned like Black Sonichu, or being hatched from an egg like Sonichu and them. Well, not Sonichu himself, but the Sonichu species. Epic permanent transformation, or what origin you have. Once the very first OC of the OC has been, I know it says more, but fuck it, I don't care, I'm not reading that. C197, or the alt dimension timeline, gets changed and updated by the input of the OC. My story had me constantly located where Sonic the Hedgehog, Sally Acorn, even though we never seen Sally in Chris's comics, Amy Rose, and everyone else's, including the likes of Goku, Optimus Prime, Papa Smurf. What the fuck is this, Dragon Ball X? Papa Smurf hanging out with Goku? The Sailor Senshi, I know I said that wrong, Kim Possible, Ratchet and Clank, Mario and Luigi, Luke Skywalker, Captain Kirk, and so forth. My very first legitimate OC, to my recollection, was Bionic the Hedgehog. When I made him, everyone and everything else of my actual process was brought into existence. And eventually, Sonichu's and Rosachu's Quickville all fell into the field of view, with their own respective background events, stories coming along with them all. And in the greater sense, I did create the species of Pokemon that are Sonichu's and Rosachu's. And by create, he means he looked at Sonic, colored him yellow, and there you go. And for Amy, just give her a tail, and boom, Rosachu. As well as my other OC Pokemon that he has cards of, and I did a video on the Wall Originals, check that out. It'd be cool if the other Wall of Original Pokemon appeared in the comic, but hasn't happened so far. And in that event, it literally turned out I also, in fact, created myself. Yes, Christian is saying that he created himself, as I was spawned as a Sonichu from the apex of the chaotic rainbow of 2003. So in the Sonichu comic, when that rainbow happens, that's supposed to be Chris's creation. Even though that makes no fucking sense because Chris was the narrator talking about the event as it happened. But forget that. Who cares? Sonichu's canon doesn't fucking matter to anyone. To end up with Barbara and Robert's genetic patterning. So now he's saying that his mom and dad have nothing to do with him being created. They didn't fuck to conceive him. No, he created himself. Fuck you. He is God. To become part human. And that's not how that works. My soul also ended up coming from... Wait a second. If you have... That just dawned on me. You were born of the chaotic rainbow, and that's what gave you your Sonichu DNA. But you said Robert had Sonichu DNA. So how does Robert have Sonichu DNA when you weren't born from him? You were born from the rainbow. That completely contradicts that. Fucking Robert wouldn't be part Sonichu then. Robert wouldn't be Sonichu at all. That's fucking dumb. This ruins your own story of your father existing in Quickville. Ended up coming from Kisuna. After I was exiled and killed off, my soul sent to Earth, I flew through the chaotic rainbow's apex to get my new body and bunches of roles and abilities for this life. So now what he's saying is that his soul went into the baby body of Chris, but that's not the same thing that he said a minute ago. He needs to make up his mind. Did the rainbow create his physical form, or did the rainbow carry his soul from the other dimension? That makes no fucking sense, but it's Chris Chan. What the fuck do you expect? The point of my previous think piece I recently tweeted was to make it clear, the obvious, that Sonichu, Rosie, Christine Chan, Nightstar, and I are not directly blood related, even though the other you is you, but whatever. So I could finally dispel the most disgraceful incest rumor you haters have fabricated. It was about incest. I was right. I was fucking right last time. He was upset because people said he was committing incest. And now, bottom line is, I did create Sonichu and Rosachu species, Quickville, my reserved area and share of C-197 alongside every other original creator. I will repeat myself this time. I share the dimension with all other original creators of this dimension. I do not think I can be more clear at this point. That is it for now. And that was Chris Chan's little follow-up of insanity. He doesn't like that you guys are saying that he's committing incest. He doesn't want to hear that. So, Chris Chan was not born of his mother and father. He was born of the chaotic rainbow, except for, no, he wasn't born of the chaotic rainbow. His soul went down the chaotic rainbow, and despite his body and possibly soul being from the chaotic rainbow, Robert is part Sonichu. Okay, that's what we've learned today. Like, I can't even explain to you what is canon in Sonichu anymore, because Chris is just making it up now. Like, even more so than before. Like, at least before, it wasn't this bad. But now at this point, I don't even know what the fuck is going on anymore. Hey, what's up guys? Dylan here, and today we are doing a Sonic Insanity on Chris Chan. Today's Sonic Insanity will be about his latest update. For those of you guys who don't know, we are still in the Sonichu Chris Chan body swap saga. It's really lame, really uneventful, kind of boring. If you want to know more about this, watch the other videos in this. I'll make a playlist about it soon. It's not been as interesting as the Magic Chan stuff. It really sucked. But today Sonichu well, not today, a bit ago, Sonichu gave us some information about the merge, so I'm going to be covering this. It's pretty long, but it's not too eventful, but let's get on with this. Hey everyone, Rosie, Sylvana, and I just listened to this video, and I will tell y'all straight up, what they say in this video, regardless of the scripted humor, they are right, for the most part, about all of that, for my own personal 2 bolts. And the video that he's talking about is a video from Gibby. His brother pretended to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist, I don't remember what it was. He pretended to be a professor, and him and Gibby were talking, and Gibby was making it sound like that Chris Chan was true, and that everything he said was right, and that he was like the god of all things. It's an alright video, but I wasn't too interested in it, didn't watch it all the way through, but some of the things that he'll be referencing here are from that video. So just, if you want to get the context, go watch the video. In actuality, the original FCs Among Us, which is fan creators, I'm pretty sure it is, or fan creations, I can't remember what it is. I think it is fan creations. Among Us, when a reboot is made, which fan creation doesn't really work when, like, applying to Sonic, because he's not an FC. They weren't a fan of something. They just are the creators of Sonic, but whatever. When a reboot is made, we do not get physically altered to match the media, but rather those reboots are literally accessing alternate dimensions other than C-197. Now that's weird because the way Chris Chan has made everything sound is that the dimensional merge will cause all dimensions to collide and create the one true version of everything. So there wouldn't be alternate dimensions, but it's weird that Chris Chan says whenever a reboot is made, it creates an alternate dimension, which that is a more sane way of seeing things, is that Sonic Boom isn't replacing Sonic, it's an alternate dimension. But he couldn't understand that before, and that contradicts everything that goes with the whole merge shit. So it's weird that he would bring that up now. But we do feel the memories and presence of our respected new self counterparts. See, that's not how the multiverse theory works. That's dumb, Chris. It becomes a literal headache. For example, Sonic My Senpai, which he's still Sonichu, that's why he's saying that, but I don't think senpai is the proper term either, because Sonic didn't teach Sonichu anything. They're friends, maybe? I don't even know. They're about the same age too, so it doesn't really make sense at all. You're using senpai incorrectly. Still maintains his tan-colored arms since Boom. Sonic was literally chronicled as residing in an alt dimension from senpai. He does not get as much of a memory presence, mental overload, but with the new movie, they actually explored a bit better into senpai's early days and background. Now, that literally makes no sense, Chris, because the Sonic movie is an alternate dimension. Sonic doesn't have a backstory in the games, and the Sonic of the other continuities have completely different backgrounds. So what makes the movie's background for Sonic more canon than Underground's background, or the Archie backstory for Sonic the Hedgehog, or any of the other backstories for Sonic the Hedgehog? Why do you get to decide that the movie is canon, and that's Sonic's early days, when all these other media have had his early days? That makes no sense. The dimensional merge is fucking retarded because Chris Chan can't decide what is and isn't canon. He just keeps winging it to whatever he likes. That's why it doesn't make any fucking sense. Senpai's early days and background, but he still maintains his tan arms. As for the internal electricity, he did not get that until the days and events chronicled in the game Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Now, what Chris Chan is referring to is Sonic's W spin attack or double spin attack or the insta shield, which you can't really say anything about that. I guess you could say he's also referring to the lightning shield, because he says in addition the lightning shield gave Sonic electrical powers, which isn't true. I'm assuming he's also meaning the insta shield, which the insta shield is not said to be lightning shot off from Sonic. It is literally Sonic doing a spin attack in the air and it knocks back projectiles. That's all it does. It's not him shooting off electricity. A lot of people have mistaken that for like an actual attack. It's not. It's just Sonic jumping in the air and shooting stuff back at the enemies that are shooting shit at him. So that makes no fucking sense. And the lightning shield couldn't give him powers, because then he'd have fire powers, he'd have magnet powers, he'd have a lot of powers because he has a lot of different shields. It makes no sense, Chris. That's dumb. Quit trying to explain how movie Sonic is game Sonic. He's not. That's like me saying Sonic has the electric powers in the movie because the fucking Fleetway continuity where he ran really fast and that gave him powers. That's my thing. He met Kentowar somewhere in another dimension. That makes no fucking sense. It's about as believable as your shit. But yet, actual default abilities. Now in late 03 into 04, Sonic did actually personally give me lessons on how to be a better runner and maneuvering of all the various things. That makes no fucking sense, mainly because Chris Chan keeps moving around when the events of Sonichu actually happened. But you instantly knew how to run. You instantly figured this shit out. You can't just say Sonic did this shit when you were already shown doing feats similar to Sonic without any training. That's fucking dumb. Shoot, the days of me being a simple wild Pikachu were long gone. So I definitely benefited from the pointers and lessons. Also, Chris Chan retconned that Sonic in the comic isn't even Sonic. It's Sylvana pretending to be Sonic, or a Ditto pretending to be Sonic. I think Sylvana pretends to be Sonic and the Ditto pretends to be Amy Rose. So, like, it's imposters every time they meet. So that doesn't even make sense with your own retcons, Chris. Like, why can't you make up your fucking mind? What I did on the right after the fateful day in Station Square was on instinct. I didn't really have a total conscious mastery over parkour yet. Yes, you did. You so fucking did. We've seen you on other occasions doing all this wacky fucking shit. You already had mastery of everything because Chris sucks at writing. God, you are Chris. Fuck, I'm getting too into this. Obviously, anyway, Sonic taught me how to better maneuver, maintain my center of gravity while literally running on different axes and walls. That makes no fucking sense, and it shows Chris doesn't understand anything. Not a total Gravity Rush gameplay experience, obviously. He even taught me how to break dance and other awesome, way past cool tricks. At least you remember Sonic likes breakdancing. That's a little fact. And we've hung out and worked out together. Wait, but you can't. Chris, you need to decide. Is Sonic canon to Sonichu? Is he canon to Sonichu? Because, like, why even have the retcons if you're going to keep pretending like he is? Off and on since. Sonic did pick up a bit of electricity from hanging out with me, so now you're taking credit for the electricity. That's fucking bullshit. His electricity is a completely different color from you, and it only exists in that one continuity. And not to mention, you said earlier in your own fucking logic that Sonic got it from the electric shield. So what is it, Chris? Make up your fucking mind. And it eventually manifests more within alongside his stored Chaos Emerald energy. We don't even know if he stores Chaos Emerald energy in his body. That's you saying that. He only has Chaos energy inside of him when he has an emerald. Yep, he started developing electrical abilities of his own. That makes Sonichu completely fucking pointless. If Sonic the Hedgehog can develop and shoot lightning on his own, there's no use for Sonichu. There's no use for Chris Chan's Sonichu. Sonichus are pointless then. I, in return, gave him a few pointers on how to handle and utilize that power. No, you didn't. He was making thunder shocks by accident in 15. So yeah, the one thing that Sonic did not have back in the early 1990s that the movie maker slipped into his new movie was actually a more present day ability of his. So you're taking credit for him having lightning powers, despite explaining earlier why he had lightning powers from the 90s. You're fucking insane. With that example, in combination with what Gibby and his doctorate bro, y'all can take from that what you will. Also, off topic, McDaniel's Dinosaur OC. There are some dinosaur OCs that exist in the present time, along with the rest of us in C197, but they're mostly about average tall human height, around at least 6 feet tall, from head to rear foot, and not counting long-necked ones. Less in number are dinosaur OCs that are original massive height as depicted in Jurassic Park. Those particular dinosaur OCs have exist in their own island colonies, while also at times commuting to and with other countries. What the fuck are you talking about? Why didn't you just say, yes, we have dinosaurs both tall and small? That's already a given, seeing how everything from any continuity exists in C197. You didn't even have to say it like that. So, on the comment of his T-Rex arms carrying a couple of us at a time, it does depend on his OC's present location, but he'll likely be one of those Dinobot islands with other matching of his height and stature. I love that Chris is discriminating people by height. If you're too tall, he's gonna force you on an island. What about the people that are too tall, Chris? You're mixing everything together. There's a big bitch in My Hero Academia. There's a giant man. There's Goliath. Did they go there? What about people that grow and shrink? Would Ant-Man go there? I don't even know. Just let you know that. Thank you both, Gibby and people trolling him. Yet again, Gibby, I know that you're trying to have fun, but when you do this shit, you actively troll Chris because he's stupid and he'll believe your shit for actually getting a lot of the details that Mama has been trying to relay to everyone. I know that Gibby isn't trolling Chris, like, intentionally, but by doing this shit, you are in fact trolling Chris. You are tricking him, and now you've made him slightly more deluded. This is why you don't do this shit. Now Chris is a slight bit more crazy, and that's never good. I will also add that one time when Mama was first getting the information details of the dimensional merge, she did have her initial doubts off, as she did need at all. The fuller details were being put into her brain some at a time, and when she asked those in this dimension 1218 about specific details, she was not really sure, because she was still learning and getting used to her new found abilities. So now whenever Chris contradicts himself, he'll say that it was an incorrect prediction because he's not used to his abilities. That's Chris Chan's new way to explain all plot holes away. He couldn't get it right because he's just now getting used to his abilities. Now Chris Chan doesn't have to make any fucking sense, and he still claims to be a god. And powers at a time. So yeah, point blank, she did have to keep it vague. But everyone kept insisting. It backfired on everyone when Mama actually got a specific time frame, because not everyone is meant to know in advance the specific win of the main event and the happening. Well, that's fucking lying, because Chris Chan on 2 separate years said that he was 100% sure on a date, and then the date was fucking wrong. Chris Chan decided on that fucking date, and then it was wrong. It wasn't vague, it wasn't anything. He set an exact date and got it wrong. So this whole thing makes no fucking sense. It was wrong to press on her like that, and it remains wrong to this day to press on that specific date details. Well, stop fucking putting a date, Chris. We all know it's not gonna happen, which is why every December I'm gonna keep celebrating when it doesn't happen. But you're the one making yourself look retarded, Chris. Look in the worldwide news for the past few months recently. You said that last year, Chris, and the year before that. And y'all will see significant artifacts and events being found. And the phenomenon that you certainly don't see every day in your dimension here, it is something I see every day in this dimension here. This world is crazy, Chris. Get used to it. That is all for now. Check y'all later, and lightning, cause he's fucking Sonichu. Hey guys, Dylan here. Now, Chris Chan had been hiding since the middle of the merge month, which is why the merge month was cut short. He was on his Discord server not doing anything, so I didn't have anything to talk about. But now Chris is back, and he has some new revelations to talk to us about. So let's get into this. Hey everyone, a think piece I wish to offer in regard to an awful premise that has been stated about me before. Sonichu and Rosachu's relation to myself, and Christine Chan, which is him in the other dimension, his main counterpart, acting independently while partly taking X number of attributes from me directly and physically from my subconsciousness, which means it's basically him, but he can disown whatever that version of him does, because that matters for some reason. I discovered / created Sonichu and Rosachu, the very first Sonichu and Rosachu in all existence. Christine Chan was aware of my existence nearly her whole life, and she had titled herself as Sonichu and Rosachu's original creator, while in fact I was the original creator. So the Chris Chan in the comic book says that he created them, and Chris Chan in real life says that he created both Chris Chan in the comic books and Chris Chan's creations. So Chris Chan in the comics thinks he created something, but really he didn't. It was Chris in the real world. Very convoluted. The three of them, in a sense. There is a ship between the representative original creator and original creations. While neither Sonichu or Rosie were related by blood, they were related in the sense of them being the same OCs from I. So this is Chris basically telling you that it's not incest, and you shouldn't think it's incest that Rosachu and Sonichu are together, because even though he created them and calls them his children, they are not blood related. That's what this whole post is about. They're OC, and the same ruling is applied between them and Christine Chan and I. No, direct bloodline ship. This is probably more about Magic-chan, because I think I said in a video before that Chris Chan created Magic-chan, so that makes Magic-chan Chris's son just like Sonichu is, so it's kind of incest that he fucks his son. But I think this might be an answer to that. In the ship between OC original creator and OC creation and creator, God, I hate how he puts this. That's not how that works. Just put original creation and original creator. Is allowed to see their creator as their legal guardian or parent and optional, but then you're fucking them. That's not how that works, Chris. As their non-related friends, ally, family, son, daughter, sibling, or whatever suits the individual creator. We'll just say I do whatever the fuck I want to. Stop saying it's incest. With that, my son and Rosie call me their mama out of respect. They also called Christine Chan their mama since she was a direct self-counterpart from me, working from my subconsciousness. So basically, you know, Rise of Skywalker, that whole thing with fucking Palpatine and Snoke, that's what's happening here with Chris and his comic book self. It's really fucking retarded. Believing for the long time that she was the original most creator of Sonichu. So now there's like 5 different Chris Chans in the world of Sonichu. So now there isn't just one Chris, there's multiple Chris running around in Sonichu. And not I. Yes, she felt omnipotent in that. Well, you can't be omnipotent if there's more than one of you. And it did go to her head. And it is going to your head still. Got over that long ago, which no you didn't. I made my better mark and participation activity in their area and lives. The hater-type trollish misconception of this relationship between OC and OC thrusted unnecessarily upon myself, Christine Chan, and Sonichu and Rosie, and, I quote, the trolls without actually saying it about anyone or anything endorsing it at all, incest being wincest. That might have been me. I know it sounds egotistical, but I might have said something like that. I won't go in detail, but I am well aware of what it is and entails, but it is not considered incest at all when any relationship happens between the original creator and creation. Yeah, it's totally fine when a parent fucks a child. That's not incest. Come on. That's not... Yeah, I know what you mean, Chris. I know what you mean. You're not blood related. The end. And are not... and do not share any bloodlines at all. And I, personally, seriously disapprove of incest. That's not what you were saying a year ago. And would never practice it at all. Obviously, you freaking hater types and your nonsense fabrications of circumstances. You were approving of incest a while ago. You said if the person who you are fucking can't get pregnant, then it's fine. Those were your words. You said that exactly a year ago. Upon anyone other than yourselves thinking you're above us all, when you are not at all. You have just as much right and ability to socialize offline as anyone does, and I'm sure these people do socialize offline and online like you do. The major hang-up you have, and I do emphasize on this, as this was I once upon a time and still you over a decade ago, in being severely shy, socially awkward. You still are. That is not your fault. Oh god, preaching to the choir, Chris. But you do have the resources these days to talk with others and get help and insight on bettering yourself, so you are not stuck behind the monitor all day 24/7 or whatever. And I know get a job is never a good response at all, as most jobs are taken. So jobs are like girls, they're mostly taken. Is this your new philosophy? You're not totally qualified. Your background checks automatically epic fail every time, regardless, or whatever is your own individual circumstance from fated events in your life. But I digress. The bottom line is, incest is never wincest. That's a quote. Chris Chan, 2020. Incest is not wincest. Epic, ugh. And pushing your hatred on anyone else, including the OCs who have at least one OC that appeals to you, and your skill set may not include being able to make such good OC. Drink every time it says OC is a moot point and nonsense. Which is why I even more glad to ignore the majority of negative commentary anywhere online, and I also appreciate the irony that present on the fact that I am continued to talk about, concerned over, prayed to, and overall appreciated despite the unnecessary hate and shit you may feel or want to shout to get off of your rubbing game on, or whatever, even more, ugh. Never diss the relationship between original creators, original creations. Do that. Say that. Don't do and then creations. That's fucking stupid. Unless this is actually direct bloodlines between them. And do not misconceive or fabricate such negative nonsense upon... You never learn, Chris. This is the same type of shit that got all your trolling started to begin with. When you got pissed that Sonichu was being drawn with a dick. Like, this is the same shit. This is the same shit you did over 10 years ago, Chris. You've never learned, and people will keep fucking with you. Now there's going to be a shit ton of incest out of you, because you couldn't just leave well enough alone and ignore these people. Love conquers hate. Thank you all for listening. Lightning heart, lightning. So, yeah, that was Chris's views on his original creations and why him fucking Magichan is not incest. Hey guys, Dylan here, and today we are continuing with the Chris-chan Sonichu body swap stuff. Now, we are finally caught up to the 10th of this month, and for those of you guys who didn't know, the 10th was Mother's Day. So we're going to be reading a post from Sonichu, quote unquote, regarding Mother's Day. And this actually does give us quite a bit of insight into Sonichu's somewhat tragic backstory. Sonichu, hey y'all, just a friendly, happy Mother's Day greeting to all women who are mothers. No shit. Moms and simple parents guiding their biological or adopted or whatever stitch children, teens, or adults. Trying to be all-inclusive, as always. Me personally, I can recall the days with my mother and father back in the old field in Rhode Island. I didn't know that it was Rhode Island. That is new information for me. I guess Sonichu is from Rhode Island. Such simple times in the days I was a Pichu, then Pikachu after evolving. My mother was simple, kind, and nurturing. And that's two ands right in a row. That's not how you do that, Chris. And continued to work hard as she did. And my father kept collecting food for us and keeping us safe as I grew up and lived. Very artistically spoken, Chris. I was really saddened when both of them had fallen during the fated day, so they're dead. His parents are dead. Sonichu's an orphan. I didn't know that. That's new information. Sonichu is an orphan, apparently. On February 1st, 2003, and he felt like this is something he needed to tell you. But apparently his parents died just a year before the events of Sonichu. That's pretty messed up. Like, Sonichu had just become an orphan as a Pikachu. Then he gets mutated into Sonichu, and then he's stuck going on Chris's adventures ever since then. It's kind of a dark twist on the Sonichu story, if I'm being honest. When they and a flock of Pikachus were ravaged by Team Rocket, grunts, and all that shit. Apparently Sonichu cusses. He cusses a lot. Now he's saying shit. Very weird. I don't remember him ever cursing in the comics. Still good times with my parents. Wow, that's a segue. Meanwhile, Rosie back in her Pichu days, that's just brushed over. My parents brutally got murdered by Team Rocket. But anyway, let's continue on. Meanwhile, Rosie, back in her Pichu days, had a few weeks with her father, Luxray, and her mom, Raichu, which has been canon I've talked about for a while, and was even shown in Rosachu's story, the comic I reviewed. She enjoyed her simple times as best as she was able to. Chris isn't very good at going into detail. This is like the most vague description of anything. Then a trainer caught her in a Pokeball. Oh, you're not going to say who that trainer was, and sent her to Professor Oak, or whichever professor you don't even know. He was in the U.S. region in Virginia. Wow, you don't even know. How can you forget that? This was south of Quickville, but that Raichu alongside Luxray, who Mama later dubbed nicknamed John. Oh yeah, I forgot that he gave the Luxray a nickname because Chris caught it later. Chris caught Rosachu's parent. I don't remember if I covered that or not. I'm pretty sure I did, but Chris actually captured Rosachu's parent and has him as a Pokemon now. Pretty fucked up. And that was just his way to tie in with Pokemon Go because he got really obsessed with that for a bit. They both kept watch over Rosie over the years, and she and Kel of them. I guess that's a That's how you segue into that next sentence. Traveled around to get their first set of badges, watching their little Pichu work hard for and with Kel. You could have just said for. Evolving and growing up. Rosie's mom had become ill some time ago. Holy fuck, what's up with all the tragic death? This is Sonichu. Though John did his best for her, she was stricken and overcome. John still was ever adamant and motivated from the trauma, so she died. Rosichu's mom is dead. Rosichu's mom is dead, and Sonichu's mom and dad are dead. And he posts this little happy dancing gif. They're fucking dead. Their parents are dead. What the fuck? They're, like, most of their parents are dead, and Rosichu's father is kept as a slave. That's pretty fucking dark. John is still alive, and he still remembers his beloved Raichu partner, and continues to do his best for us as I keep him imprisoned in a tiny ball. And for her, another good, caring mother. So yeah, happy Mother's Day to all mothers, be they human or animal. And you may have noticed something is missing from this post, but he didn't even bring up his mom at all. Chris didn't mention Barbara at all here. Someone had to ask him below, hey, what about Barb, though? And then Sonichu Chris responds, as for Barbara, mother of Christian, she is very good and awesome in her own right. I mean, Mama has previously praised and spoken well of her. I guess that means you don't have to do it again the next year. I personally am unable to say much except that Barbara did and does her best for her. And me, here, while I'm in this body, thanks Barbara for being the mother of Christian in 1218. Here, I'm glad to know her as much as well as I do. That is fucking weirdly worded. Everything here is weirdly worded. So we learned a lot today. We learned quite a bit about Sonichu's backstory. Apparently, both of his parents are dead, and one of Rosichu's parents are dead. So that's some deep shit. And apparently this all happened like right before this Sonichu comic kicked off. So all this dark shit. Hey guys, Dylan here, and today we are reading a update from Chris Chan. And this update has more little trivia facts about Sonichu and Rosichu. I have been doing a whole series on the Sonichu lore for a while now, so if you want to see more of those videos, look for them. They're in the Chris Chan Sonic Insanity. So let's read what Chris Chan has to say about Sonichu and Rosichu. Hey y'all, it's time for new Sonichu and Rosichu trivia to be shared. This time, we're talking their weight. We all know their height from foot to head is 3.5. Really? 3.5? Dear God, they're all midgets. But I've seen Sonichu stand up toe-to-toe with Chris Chan before. That's inconsistent, unless Chris Chan is supposed to be a dwarf. On average, regardless of gender between Sonichu and Rosichu's, their respective weight average is as follows. And that is the artwork done by Taylor. Chris really liked that shirt. As Sonichu's average weight is about 120 to 125 pounds. That's not a lot, but it is a lot for that height. And Rosichu's average weight is around 105. For all, it will take a lot of extra weight to even remotely hinder their physical athletics and running speed. Typically, it would take a weight of about 150 pounds to hinder either even remotely by 1 to 10 miles per hour decrease. I like that you're getting this in depth with it, but I don't think it's necessary. They're part Sonic, so that explains their super speed. You don't have to tell me about their weight and shit. I don't think anyone cares because Sonic the Hedgehog's always been fast and it never needed to be explained. Which compared to the average running speed of 765 miles per hour is a penny to a nickel. One would have to be totally lazy and inactive for a super long time, consuming tons of hearty foods and becoming uber fat in order to be reduced. So, Chris Chan Sonichu can't run that fast. That is what he is telling me. Chris Chan Sonichu is going to be slow compared to the other ones. To moving as fast as humans' fastest running speed, but our metabolisms are typically at very good, well then you didn't need to fucking say the previous thing. You won't get fat because your metabolisms are good, which is a lie because you're fat. What we respectively consume. So, the chances of one of us becoming severely weight class handicapped is uber slim. I don't know, you seem to be getting there. and uber unlikely. Quit using the term uber. The only way to get slow Roschu or Sonichu is in their genetics. That's weird. And percentages of those in the species are again uber slim. I want to see the slowest fucking Sonichu ever. Make that. I want to see it. To note, the majority of our species, because he identifies as a Sonichu, has very strong and tough bone density and endurance. Take an example from Sonichu and Rosie. If they are able to withstand massive explosions, oh no, he's giving the power scaling people exactly what they wanted, and running through tough concrete thickness, as well as, I don't remember him running through concrete ever, or any type of brick material outside of a super form. So I'm not counting that feat, Chris. As well as Stell and other, I think you mean steel and other metals. I've never seen them do that, so I'm not counting that feat. It stands to obvious reasoning of us remaining most capable of remaining at great physical peak. See, you guys fucking shit on me for not being able to read Chris's shit. He used remaining twice in the same sentence. Give me some slack. At great physical peak and high energy. It helps that each Sonichu and Roschu, even all regulars, have at least a most minimal, ample amount of Chaos Emerald energy through our systems and passing them down through to the next generation being hatched. But I digress. Oh god, this is really long. Also, for half human, half Sonichus, or half human, half Rosechus, the physical attributes between the human and Pokemon forms become fully and safely adjusted and readjusted, which that makes no fucking sense, in the transformations back and forth, becoming more and more adept when one has to transform back and forth for a good number of times. That's written exclusively for you to know how he works, because it's all about Chris Chan at the end of the day. It even improves on human form over a month. No, it doesn't. You're still fat. Or so of being in their Sonichu and Roschu form, either through their projected selves, that's not how that works, Chris, or in full physical transformations, as these instill better habit of special human Sonichu or human Roschu I guess it's just so amongst the few. You shouldn't do that. You should have just put the period and then put so amongst the few. But I'm not going to correct you about grammar all day. We have really good benefits to go back and forth, as well as extensively staying in our Sonichu/Roschu forms regardless. That is all for now. Thank you. And that was Chris Chan's little Sonichu and Roschu update. I guess he felt inspired because he saw the shirt that me and Taylor made. Hey guys, Dylan here, and today we are going to be continuing the Chris Chan Sonichu body swap. If you haven't watched the last episode, I'd recommend you to go watch it right now. Today we are going to be covering a very small thing, but I do have a lot to talk about with it, so let's get right into this. This post comes from Chris Chan Sonichu, or Sonichu possessing Chris Chan, and it says, "Yep, April 20th, 1992 was the day I was born as a Pichu." And if you know anything about Sonichu, you know that's wrong. From my mom and dad Pikachus. And Rosie was born on January the 8th. You know that's wrong too, the same year. Go ahead with the stoner jokes as you will. I am not one, and I can't help the fact that my day is on the same as the unfortunate 420 meme. Dave's not here. And in case you know that one, congratulations, you're a boomer if you get that reference. I get that reference because I lived in a house with old people, but hopefully you don't get that reference. And we see that he was sharing some artwork right there of Sonichu zapping it on his birthday. And he says, "At least I'm still in good humor to joke about it as well, thinking that that day was chosen because it was a stoner day and not for any darker reasons. As for how Rosie and I learned about our respective days of birth, Magichan showed and told us. Why would you need to be shown or told? You should already know when you were born. Do you not remember when you were a child? Do you not remember your parents? Did your parents never tell you? Why would you go over like 10 years believing a lie? That seems dumb. If anything, it seems like Magi-chan brainwashed you into believing that. And then someone says, in canon, is the day Sonichu was literally born or the day he turned from Pikachu to Sonichu? Literally born. April 20th, 1992, the day the accident with Sonic and the Chaotic Rainbow was February 1st, 2003. Canon and for real. That's Chris confirming that this insanity is true. Now, I want to tell you guys something about Sonichu. If you go to his character bio, you will see that he was originally born in March 17th, 1988, and it was changed to April 20th, 1992 by the Idea guys. Now, why was this day chosen? Why was this day chosen at all? This day was chosen because it is the birthday of Adolf Hitler. The Idea guys, this one in particular, thought Nazis and dictators were funny because they're edgy weens. So they made Sonichu's birthday be the same as Hitler's birthday. It wasn't chosen because haha stoner meme, it was chosen because of Adolf Hitler. Now, you may be wondering, is there any more Nazi stuff? Yes, Hitler Chu is a canon character in Sonichu. I'm pretty sure. Chris hasn't outwardly confirmed that he is no longer canon. Now, you may be wondering to yourself, what does Rosachu's birthday mean? Rosachu's birthday was originally December 22nd, 1988, and it got retconned to January 8th, 1992. Well, Rosachu's birthday is the same day as Kim Jong-un's birthday. Yes, another dictator. So they took two well-known dictators throughout history and made Sonichu and Rosachu's birthdays be on those days. And Chris Chan apparently couldn't realize that they were trolling him. Thank you for giving these kids' characters birthdays connected to dictators. And in case you guys really want to know something that really convolutes all this, Sonichu and Rosachu's birthdays have already been retconned before. Originally, Sonichu and Rosachu were underage, and they ended up being retconned to be of age. So they've already been retconned multiple times, and in the latest comic versions I could get, it still says December 22nd and March 17th. So it seems like Chris Chan is just retconning a retcon now. Sonichu and Rosachu's birthdays have been changing for years, so I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. I want to know how you guys feel. Do you think that their new birthdays are better, or do you think they should have stayed with the old birthdays? Do you think Chris Chan will ever realize that the trolls got to him again and change it, or do you think he's just gonna roll with this and keep their birthdays on the day that it is right now? Sorry that this video was so short. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it for what it was worth. Hopefully I cleared up some stuff to you guys and you learned something new about why their birthdays were retconned. Hey everybody, Dylan here. Now today we are going to be doing yet again another Sonic Insanity. Now this isn't like your usual Sonic Insanities, it's not anyone doing anything crazy. It's just a while back Chris Chan started updating the lore to his characters and he just splurted it out all over Twitter instead of just writing into a comic or something. So I find this as being a little weird or being a little crazy. Sometimes Sonic Insanity isn't going to end the way that you expect it, and it's not going to be the topics you expect. So today we are going to be learning the new lore and backstory to Rosachu. Hey everyone, I have another topic to share with y'all today. Rosachu's father. Before becoming the Rosachu she is today, Rosie was a Raichu, born as a Pichu. Her mother was a Raichu, and her father was a Luxray. Now, the reason why Chris Chan has taken this as his canon is, he read a fan comic called Rosachu's Story, and in Rosachu's story, Rosachu gets a vision of a Luxray. Now, we don't know what this meant because shortly after this, the author stopped writing the story, so I hope that Chris Chan actually knew that this was the direction the author was going to take it, and that this Luxray just didn't mean anything else, but it's whatever. Chris Chan will assume whatever Chris Chan will assume, and this is now canon to Sonichu. The young Pichu was caught by a volunteer trainer in 1996, which the trainer transferred to Professor Oak. Then soon after, when Kel went to get her first Pokemon before she could choose between Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle, the young Pichu appeared. He caught Kel's attention, and the bond was made. Oh yeah, this is something I need to explain to you guys. You probably don't know this. For a while, Christian assured everyone that Sonichu was female, and I might do a video explaining his explanation later and talk about how stupid it is, but right now I'll explain it to you in a different way, just so you can get what I'm trying to say. He said that Sonichu herself is female, but Raichu was male. And the reason why he said this is because the tail that he drew on Raichu was a male Raichu's tail. And the Sonichu comic pointed this out, and he really likes the Sonichu story comic, so he took it as canon. But he didn't fully understand what the comic was trying to get at when they said that, so he fucked it up, and now he says that Sonichu had some surgery to become fully female, even though it makes no fucking sense. The whole point of the transformation to begin with was that Pokemon can switch genders and sexes as they evolve. But Chris Chan doesn't understand this shit, so just know Sonichu was male, now she's female. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know about any of this. The bond was made, he caught Kel's attention, and the bond was made between the Pokemon and the trainer. Oak allowed Kel to have the Pichu, and their adventures went onward. We hardly know anything about Kel, and Kel hardly appeared in Sonichu at all. But the Luxray and Raichu, they lived together as long as they could. The Lady Raichu didn't survive an attack made on their forest home by Team Rocket, so she has the exact same backstory as the fucking Cubone. Its mother died too. The unnamed Luxray was saddened by the loss of his sweetheart, but he followed his heart, the winds and all, until he witnessed the training of his Pichu child under the care and guidance of Kel. For many years, the Luxray remained in the background, watching and guarding over his precious child and Kel. Then he witnessed from the distance the lightning flash and envelop and transform his child, who had grown and evolved into a Raichu, become the very first Sonichu in existence. The Luxray did not love Rosie any less, okay. He still saw Rosie as his child, and a developing warrior with the great strengths and values. I hate how Christian writes. And we get more art from Sonichu's story. The Luxray continued to watch over Rosie from the distance, and only intrude when he need to rescue her, even though he never rescued her once, which was not often. Rosie is super tough and strong, and the Luxray supported her with number of healing items and food. This has never been shown in Sonichu, ever, and what he could gather that would benefit her. And everyone else around her, we'd never seen him in the comic up until now. He continued to be very proud of his child and watched over her like a guardian angel, even though that was Angelica's role, but whatever. Now, present day, and recently, Magic-chan has informed me that this very Luxray is still alive, but his health was beginning to fail. He informed me that I am able to heal him and reunite him with Rosie, because there can be no suspense or drama in Sonichu ever. Also, to make for a very strong friend and ally of our teams. So I said the prayer and healed Luxray, because Chris Chan is an actual god now, a literal god in the comics, just so you know. Then a couple of days later, I finally earned enough candies to evolve him into a Luxio in my Go app. He's literally talking about Pokemon Go, by the way, because he connects the real world with his Sonichu world, so things that happen in the real world are also canon to Sonichu. So because he evolved this Luxray in Pokemon Go, it's now evolved in the comics too. I learned that this is what the moment the very Luxray would come out of the shadows and join us, and I would give him a name. And simply good, I renamed Rosie's father John, because I assumed that he had a name before, and then Chris just chose a new one. That's why I said renamed. He has indeed proven his strength and prowess in battle. It took him a little while, but Rosie felt John was familiar to her somehow. I didn't confirm or deny. Why didn't you just tell her? Why didn't you just tell her that this is her father? Why would you keep it a secret? But I told Rosie to check her dreams. Why? Why don't you just tell her straight up that you caught her father and now he's your fucking slave? Next day, Rosie was positive and John confirmed it with her. The reunion was indeed happy, and Sonichu was there, and he was very honored to meet Rosie's father, and John is very healthy and well under good care, and he helps out our defense. Why do you need anyone to help you in your defense? Like, you got a bunch of superheroes working for you. You got the Quickville Power Rangers. You got Transformers working with you. Why would you need any more fucking defense warriors? Thank you all for enjoying this story. Be safe and well. And then he credits the artist only by name. He doesn't actually link to Rosachu's story. So what did we learn today? We learned that Chris Chan is taking things from the fan canon and applying it to his canon, and he's also still taking things from the real world and applying it to his canon. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this stream. It's not really a drama stream. It's more like a lore stream. I like looking into the lore of things. I like looking into how things operate and the logic behind the characters that these crazy people create. Hey guys, Dylan here. I'm just getting over a cold, so if things seem a little odd today, it's because I just want an easier stream to do. Just get into the mood of things again. Today we are going to be talking about Metonic and Vampirosa, and if that seems familiar, it's because I've already talked about these before. But I've been studying up on Chris's little card game that he's made a mod for, some My Little Pony thing, and I want to do a full stream on that. But while I was doing that, apparently he's done a little bit of an update on Metonic and Vampirosa. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So this is kind of like a preview to the other stream that I'm going to do later. Chris says, I'm going to tell y'all, it's still with the y'all shit, a little story about the evolution of Sonichu and Rosachu's evolved forms respectively, Metonic and Vampirosa. And this is the original artwork that he did years ago, well before the Sonichu comics started. They were original Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And I forget what the other one was. Animal Crossing cards. A regular Sonichu can evolve into the Steel Electric Metonic by being traded with a metal coat. A regular Rosachu can evolve into a Dark/Electric Vampirosa by having highest friendship levels and leveling up during midnight hour of 12 and 1 a.m. And I think that's carried over from Pokemon. I think certain Pokemon evolve with friendship levels or whatever. Metonics are meant to be tough, durable soldiers in combat. They maintain their foot and leg. He said there, but as far as I know, only one can do it, and only one does evolve in the future, and that is the original Sonichu, so I don't know why he's speaking in a plural. Reflexes. Their armor is actually super toughened fur and quills. All of their bodily fuzz, I don't think that's the term you should be using, Chris, gets diamond tough treatment. It should be rough, but whatever. Diamond tough treatment in evolution. The armored parts are mostly unbreakable. Its hair, I really doubt it could be unbreakable. Impenetrable areas. The armor is not coming off any time, making Sonichu be stuck looking like that forever. They trade their spin dash ability for their sword and generate shields with their barrier attacks and electricity. Metonics are the best in defense, offense, and speed. Why would you make him that overpowered? That's just broken. One can ask for in combat. You should at least make him slower so it kind of balances him out. Vampirosas get a wing treatment similar to flying squirrels. No, not flying squirrels. Flying squirrels have skin underneath their arms. Vampirosas have bat wings. But bat style. They can actually survive during the day. Well, yeah, because it's not an actual vampire. And at night, they are not prone to any of the weaknesses of a vampire. So you get all the strengths of a vampire with none of the weaknesses. Thank you, Chris Chan, for making things completely unbalanced yet again. There are a few Vampirosas. As far as I know, there's only been one. Are you suggesting there's going to be more in the future? I'm really curious to find that out. Who have actually been blessed in a church before. They generally do not feed on blood. Generally. I don't like that. It should be they do not feed on blood. What the fuck are they eating, Chris? They will only do so in self-defense. What self-defense? Self-defense is hitting someone when they're hitting you. Self-defense is shooting someone when they're threatening you. Self-defense is punching someone if they're going to attack you. Self-defense is not bite someone on the neck and drain them till they're dead. To weaken the worst of their enemies and foes. Consider them more like fruit bats in that sense. No, that's not fruit bats. You're wrong on that. But they do defend better in the night and in the shadows, as they have really good nocturnal vision. Well, they're not going to do too well staying hidden. They're dressed in bright red and have pink fur. They can outwit a powerful psychic type, if the psychic in question does not pose Miracle Eye ability, and I'm assuming Maju-chan does. Their defense stat is great in their wingspan, as the wings can grow larger. Ooh, that's fucking weird. To completely cover and protect the Vampirosa from incoming flames, ice, and other elements. Just say it's God. Just say it's a fucking god if you're gonna give it no weaknesses. When I first found / created these evolutions, I had a liking of knights and vampires. Someone's been playing ghosts and goblins a lot. And when you have them working together between on land and in the sky, in the brightness of day and the blackest of night, why do you need a knight character when you introduced Darkbind Sonichu? Is he completely pointless now? Is he an evolved Sonichu? I doubt it. This is a power duo that works well together, although it still adds a considerable difference that makes leaving them, Sonichu and Rosachu, as a better choice over evolving them. Well, I'm going to talk about what you could have done to fix this in the actual comics when this stream is over. We're getting close to that. Also, in online search, I noticed Vampirosa form for Savannah. She is unable to evolve, but she can still transform into a pseudo-evolved form as needed and maintain her natural and typical stats, skills. Who fucking cares? It's a comic character, but a flight ability and darkness electric type on top of psychic typing, so she has 3 types in her Vampirosa form, so she can temporarily transform into a Vampirosa, very similar to Mega Evolving. And I'll go into a mini rant after I'm done reading this. This special one and only Savannah Rosachu. Last note, Google Metonic and I get a bunch of Sonic and Metal Sonic shipping art, just fair warning. And these are their new cards. These are the cards he made, and I will be showing these cards more when I look at all the cards. We see that Vampirosa has Dark Pulse, which you may swap 2 pony cards in the shipping grid. Ooh, elaborate fucking powers. And even though they're Hedgehog Pokemon, it says Pony on the card, because I guess it has to be Pony. And Metonic has Slashing Blade. While this card is in your hand, you may discard a villain from the grid and play this card in its place. This power cannot be copied. So yeah, and then it just tells you more information about them down there. And that's all I wanted to talk about with those two. Someone, Lilychu, who actually liked my post and I said I was going to do this stream, asked Christine, Christine, I have a question about Vampirosas. Do they lose their tail? And Chris says yes, and then they thank them. Now, I'm going to go into a mini little autistic rant, so I'm giving you a little heads up before I do it. Chris introduced the Sonicite crystals into Sonichu lore. I already made a video talking about this. And in that, he decided that the Sonicite crystal would allow Sonichu to turn into Ultra Sonichu and allow Rosachu to turn into her furry form. And rather than doing that, how about you not do that? Because these powers already have an explanation. Ultra Sonichu came from the Sonichu crystals. And then the Rosachu, the wild lioness, came from her getting angry. So Chris had to retcon them for no reason. He should have kept these as one-off transformations and said fuck it and not use them anymore. And instead, make the Mega Evolution be Metonic and Vampirosa. it doesn't contradict what you said originally, because you said it's a evolution for Sonichu and Rosichu, and you'll get to use these forms knowing that they can go back to their regular forms, because Chris is never going to evolve Sonichu because he's afraid that Sonichu will be stuck looking like this. If these are temporary evolutions like you did with Sylvana, then these characters can turn back to looking normal later. What's the point of you introducing Mega Evolution if you take the evolutions you're never going to use and don't use them? That's just writing advice for Chris. You made these forms, you like them a lot, you keep using them in non-canon material, just make them Mega Evolutions. It'll fix a lot of your problems that you're having with these forms and make them seem a lot less useless. Hey guys, Dylan here, and today we are going to be looking at another tweet from Christian. Now, if you guys don't know, this is a part 2 video. I have been covering multiple videos on Sonichu and Rosichu for over a year now, and this is a sequel to my video on Sonichu and Rosichu's evolution, Metonic and Vampirosa. This gives us some more information on that. It's not going to be a very long video, none of these type of videos are, so hopefully you guys are ready to learn some new information from Christian. Hey everyone, let's talk now of female Metonic and male Vampirosas. And I'm gonna start this off with a little bit of a complaint of my own. It's gonna sound really autistic, so I'm warning you ahead of time. If you don't give two shits about Sonichu's lore, just click off now. A lot of people don't understand what I find so interesting about Chris. This is one of the things that I find interesting. Now, when Sonichu and Rosichu was first made, I'm 100% sure that Chris intended for it to be one species, and that being that the male versions are Sonichus and the female versions are Rosichus. I say this because every single character we were introduced to that was a Sonichu that was male was Sonichu. Wild Sonichu, Magichan Sonichu, Sonichu, and all the females were Rosichus. That being Bubbles Rosichu, or Angelica Rosichu, and regular Rosichu. They were all the same name. Now, since Christian has become more obsessed about trans shit, he's introduced the idea of male and female Sonichus and male and female Rosichus, and I think that just complicates shit. It's unnecessary world building that dilutes the simplicity of the original Sonichu and Rosichu. So I think that this is actually something that's hurt the narrative of Sonichu. I know Sonichu sucks, it can never be fixed, but this is just something that I don't like. It's an unnecessary addition. And for comparison with the fresh drawing, here are some recent Metonic and Vampirosa card art, and he wants you to buy his cards. Don't buy his cards, they are really expensive. You can spend your money on better shit. And this is the new design. It's weird that the male Vampirosa, they look almost identical, but just without the headband. I guess that curl next to the ears is how they differentiate them. Meanwhile, the female Metonic looks completely different. Instead of having a helmet, the silver just kind of goes through it, and that's weird. That's weird that he'd get rid of the helmet. And now, instead of a regular Pikachu tail, it's the female Pikachu tail. That seems to be the biggest differentiator, though, is the fact that they no longer have a helmet. And nope, first time coolering, I'm gonna keep saying it like that because you're American, Chris, learn how to spell. Any Metonic with metallic gel pen ink, a male Metonic's armor and fur is typically as metallic as sheen as in female one drawn. Did you mean to say sheen? I think maybe you meant seen? Maybe he meant sheen. Here, and shiny variants. It remains in simply changing the yellow fur to white, and the pink fur to royal purple. I didn't notice any difference in color there at all. It looks the same in color. It just looks slightly more glossy because of your gel pen. To evolve a Pokemon is optional, but to have one that is slightly stronger option remains a good idea for most trainers. Well, there's only one original Sonichu and one original Rosechu, so unless other Pokemon get this form, it doesn't really matter. So, comma on. I don't think you need a comma there. The fact that 113 Sonichus and females and 113 Rosechus are male, I don't think that's how you're supposed to type that, Chris. For a number out of them to evolve by trainer influence or choice, well, none of them have, so it doesn't fucking matter. It does remain to say that gender variant of evolved is a rarity in comparison. Anyhow, you can see the different body armor style on the female Metonic, including waist guards, and male Vamporosa keep the Raichu ears and back-facing quill style, and they typically wear purple slacks. Now you, with an OC in mind, have this as an optional. Oh, so this is for other people's shit. This is just for other people who want to make OCs that you'll steal and slap onto a card. Reference and framework. Have fun discovering and creating, but don't create too differently than me or else you're wrong. Thank you. And this was really just to shill his cards, because that's how he makes his money now. People are dumb enough to buy these cards, and I've seen people buy these cards. I'm really shocked how many people have. Hey guys, Dylan here, and today we're going to be looking at some more Sonichu Mega Evolutions. For those of you guys who didn't watch my last few videos on the subject, I have been talking about the fact that Chris Chan has retconned the Pokemon Mega Evolution feature into Sonichu. Now, the last time we covered this, we covered Sonichu and Rosechu's Mega Evolutions, which were actually just recycled forms that they could already take. But now Chris has given more Mega Evolution forms to more characters, and these are totally new forms. So we're going to take a look at that and read their crappy little My Little Pony cards, because that's where he's putting this at for some weird reason. So first we've got Mega Wild Sonichu. We're not going to read the purple text because that's just for the card game. I don't give a shit. When Wild Sonichu Mega Evolves, his tail becomes as long as he is tall, which is really long and very impractical, and he can bounce off of and glide high in the skies with his tail. That's not how tails work. In this time of flight, he can snipe and take out his foes with faster than light flying, durable, and sharpest leaves and vine thorns. So he's a sniper, and his tail looks completely ridiculous. But overall, the form itself is alright. I just don't like the white streaks going down his neck to his legs. They look very impractical. Like, maybe if they're supposed to be on the side of his legs, it could look alright, but no, I just don't like that design at all, period. Like, the head isn't bad, and I like the idea of his leafy tail changing, but this isn't for the better. This is for the worse. This is a downgrade of his prior design, in my opinion, anyway. Next, we have Mega Bubbles. And you'd be mistaken to not know that this is even a Mega Evolution, because it looks just like Bubbles, but with little antennas. Like, there's literally nothing different about her design that I can see right away. Maybe the spines in the back and spines on her arms. Maybe she took a little bit of influence from Tempest the Dolphin. When Bubbles Rosechu Mega Evolves, her quills transform into total water. Oh, is that what that's supposed to be? I just thought you got lazy with her hair. So I guess she has watery hair now. So she has hair flowing of waters, solid and transparent. Her water pressure power can go up to the strongest water pressure possible upon foes. That's not possible, Chris. You don't even know what the strongest water pressure possible is, because water can get as strong as you can shoot it. Mega Angelica Rosechu. Now, this is actually different. Her hair changes, her face shape changes. She now turns pink, and she has gray wings. This is actually an overall improvement on Angelica. I like this design. I really do. The shades of pink are very good with each other, and the light blue complements the light pink. And when Angelica Rosechu Mega Evolves, she becomes uber enlightened and gains physical typing. Everyone around her looks upon her in awe. They already did. Like the highest level of deity has emerged from the cosmos to bless them with all the... so this is kind of cool. She was like an angel before, and now she's kind of like a goddess. I like that idea. I like that concept, except for Chris, goddesses are literal. Bless them this very day with recovered health, so now she can heal. And divine interventions. She really glows. I like that. I like that form. I like the idea of it. Mega Punchy Sonichu. Now, one of the things about Punchy Sonichu is that he didn't have a tail. This Mega Evolution will make him grow back his tail, kind of taking away the one attribute he had. And his eyes have gotten bigger now. They used to be completely squinty. And we can see Dame in the background. When Punchy Sonichu Mega Evolves, he channels the auras of the other past and present combat warriors and fighters in all of existence. That makes him too OP. In this form, he can rival even Goku? Fuck no. No, that's not possible. In his highest level of Super Saiyan form. Super Saiyan... No. No. Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan would obliterate this thing. You are grossly underestimating Goku. And he didn't even acknowledge how his tail grew back. Silver Blake Sonichu. It looks like Black Sonichu, but gray. When Blake Sonichu Mega Evolves, his power becomes more aggressive. In his battles, he still maintains his focus and mind. He is able to instant teleport, so chaos control, and appear behind foes to take them out in a single sweep. He can also divide his electricity into a single shot thunderbolt. Every one of them can do that. That can strike in 100. That's literally just what they could already do. So he's nothing special, and he loves to assault random Pokemon that we don't know are doing anything wrong. He has a Team Rocket necklace. We are not knowing what's going on here. Blake could just be assaulting him for no reason. Mega Magichan Sonichu, and he gets a third eye, because of course he does. When Magichan Sonichu Mega Evolves, it is like a divine intervention moment for everyone in the area. His psychic powers get a massive boost, even a bit more powerful than Mega Mewtwo Y's psychic power. He brings instant insight and wisdom to everyone with good intentions in their heart. That lasts as long as he is Mega Evolved. I don't know what the fuck that means. I don't like that his little vest becomes a full-fledged trench coat. I don't like his extra spines to make him look like a fucking hippie lion. I don't like the way he's drawn. It's all crap. Like, the third eye could work, but it doesn't work here for some reason. I really just don't like this design. And now we've already talked about him, but there's new stuff here, so I'll look at this anyway. Ultra T-posing Sonichu, and this is stolen straight from the artwork. This is stolen straight from the comic book. But it's Chris stealing it, so I guess that's fine, but he didn't do any unique artwork here. When Sonichu Prime is exposed to the power of the 7 Chaos Emeralds, he becomes Ultra Sonichu. To the touch of his aura and fur, insanely powered up, his foes and adversaries get an insta-kill, so he's just gonna murder them? Well, I didn't know that about him. Unless we're talking a really large foe, or one that is overpowered. So he's one punch, unless it's someone that's powerful, then he's not one punch. That contradicts itself, Chris. Then it will take a few hits from him. So that makes no sense. He's just strong. Just say that, Chris. Mega Rosie Rosachu. And when Rosachu Mega Evolves, it becomes a Lioness type. Lioness is not a type. Ferocious and even more agile. It can even shred massive stones and steel beams, so Rosachu caused 9/11 into shards with their electrified claws to keep their clothes from getting ripped and torn apart. It only happened to Rosachu, like the main Rosachu. No one else has this form as far as I know. In the Mega Evolution, they must remove it before evolving, and because Chris is a pervert. And that was all the new information we have on Mega Evolutions. Now, I know it wasn't a lot to go off of, but there wasn't a lot to show. There's a lot of new artwork here, a lot of new concepts, and I'm pretty sure this will eventually get into the Sonichu comics. Hello everybody, Dylan here. Now, today we are going to be doing a Sonic Insanity. Today's Sonic Insanity is going to be talking about Chris Chan and Black Sonichu. Now, for those of you guys who have kept up with the Sonichu comic reviews, you will already know who Black Sonichu is, but to give you a little bit of a refresher, if you don't want to watch that or you are hopping into this blind, Black Sonichu is the clone of Sonichu, and the reason why he's black is because they mixed cherry cola into his DNA. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know about Black Sonichu to understand any of this. So Chris Chan says, "Hey everyone, I have another piece of new trivia for y'all to enjoy about our Black Sonichu, or Blake Sonichu as he would later be renamed as. He is a dual typing of dark and electric. Expanded background. When Blake was created by a misclone of Sonichu's DNA, I don't think that's the word you need to use, but whatever, in Giovanni's laboratory by his team of scientists, it was definitely intended to be a counter to Sonichu, right after the now disowned adopted son of Giovanni's, Natesurk, had his initial encounter with Sonichu and Rosachu that day in the Quickville shopping mall. Granted that Sonichu's electric attack was so powerful, it remained. And if we look right here, this is actually not artwork from Chris Chan. He's referencing events that happened in Sonichu, but he's using artwork from Rosachu's story, a comic that I want to cover later, but it's a troll comic made to both pay honor to Chris Chan's Sonichu comic and to fuck with it. It makes Chris Chan like kind of like a dopey villain in this, so it's funny that he would show Rosachu's story, and Rosachu's story has actually retconned some of Sonichu in the past. It's the reason why Rosachu is now quote-unquote trans in the comics, so interesting that he's still using Rosachu's story stuff. As a super effective attack on a Zapdos, as if the legendary bird was only a flying type, the electric typing on the Zapdos was nullified by Sonichu's epic thunder that day. I just always thought he did it because fuck you. In the anime, Pikachu was able to take out electric Pokemon with electric attacks because fuck you. So, with the hairs they got from him from that encounter, Giovanni attempted to clone Sonichu as more powerful than the original. When they genetically enhanced the clone that would become Blake or Black Sonichu, he had his crew add in the darkness typing. See, I would have loved if he said the darkness comes from cherry cola, the dark represents how dark cola is. That would have been funny. I would have liked that, but unfortunately he's saying that somehow you can inject types in the Pokemon, even though it makes no fucking sense. If they could do that, then why didn't they make Mewtwo every type instead of just Psychic? With that, of a Sneasel. Oh, great, a Sneasel. We have a Sneasel in Sonichu. He's not in the reviews yet, so don't try looking for him. And the Cherry Cola was accidentally mixed into the sample in the final run that created Blake. I wish you would have just said the darkness came from Cherry Cola. That would have been funny, because then I could have said Cherry Cola is evil. I didn't mean to click that, but whatever. Blake did his job well with Giovanni and Team Rocket for the time, and then later on his heart skipped a beat when he first laid eyes on Bubble Rosachu. It took him a lot of soul searching and learning of his own accord, as love was seriously closed off topic in Team Rocket. Really? Did we just skip that? Yeah, we skipped straight to the Bubble. Okay, so he's just giving a straight up summary of what Blake is. This isn't even anything new. And years later, he really began to question Team Rocket and Giovanni's belief system when Natesurk first transformed into his Sonichu form. He didn't start to fucking question it. The only thing that happens in the comic is Natesurk starts bullying him and put whipped cream in his rockets. That's all that happened. He said that Natesurk pushed Giovanni out of the way and put whipped cream in his rockets, and that's all it took for him to stop being evil. In that moment, Blake realized that this in front of him was a greater darkness than he could ever be. That's bullshit. When he was first born, he said that he was going to deceive them, that he was just going to use them, get all the knowledge he wanted, and then ditch them. So now he's contradicting exactly what he said when he was first introduced. And Giovanni was no better, so he slipped out of Team Rocket's grasp and control by cutting off communications with Giovanni. Wow, there was no failsafe for this ultra-powerful creature. Giovanni's a fucking idiot. And the organization, after Natesurk was hospitalized after trying to get... So he's literally just spoiling all of Sonichu. So for those of you guys who actually give a shit and haven't seen all of the Sonichu shit and want to read the comic review, I mean, if you want to watch the comic reviews we're doing, you might want to avoid this video, because he's literally just summarizing shit I already know. Crystal Eschewball Ball that day. Blake reformed and became more between an anti-hero and a hero. and he met and got together with Bubbles. Yes, unfortunately we do know that. His typing remains dual typing between dark and electric, but he has a good side. Well, dark Pokemon can be good. It doesn't mean they're evil. It's dark, not evil typing. And faults too. Still, as powerful as ever, he does not slack off on his own combat training and battles. Who cares? As for the old homemade TCG card I made of him, so this is literally just a retcon, his homemade Pokemon card that no one gave two shits about. Christian thinks that you care so much about his lore that you know that he made Pokemon cards of these characters, and that the typing on the cards may not reflect their typing in the comics. God. It was before I realized how Darkness was more accurate typing. Yet I am aware of the Neo Genesis TCG expansion with the special Darkness Energy card, and this I ended up inaccurately making this an evil energy typing. So he went from being an evil energy type to a dark energy type. Potato potato, who gives a shit, Chris? Why do you think anyone cares? A respective special evil energy card I ended up making as well. This was my own misaccuracy this is so fucking retarded, Chris. No one cares. In chronicling Blake's early days, still, Giovanni did not give up on his project of a Sonichu clone who would never fall for anything like love or justice. It did take him a lot longer than expected with the temporary downfall of Team Rocket. His comeback happened within the past few years. He needed the new DNA samples, and they were quite difficult to acquire considering that Sonichus and Rosachus typically can run at Mach speed, but they're everywhere. Getting a sample should be easier now since there's like fucking 20 of them and no longer just 2 of them. Why doesn't he just capture one of them instead of cloning another one? But whatever. The non-related chaos of yesteryear with the idea guy and his OC. Wait, did I skip something? No, that's literally it. We skipped straight into the idea guy. Whatever. The non-related chaos of yesteryear with the idea guy and his OC, Johnson Wiles, misguiding and deceiving and blackmailing and demanding extortion he got from me. Giovanni got some samples, but only of 3. So he said the idea guy blackmailed Chris, and Chris gave Giovanni the samples even though Giovanni doesn't exist. Okay, whatever. We'll just go with that. You gave a fictional character samples of another fictional character stuff because you were being blackmailed. I'll take that. I'll believe that. But only of 3. Sonichu, Angelic of Rosachou, and Magichan Sonichu remaining in his grasp. Even after I used my chunk of Reality Stone. Chris has the Reality Stone, and this is how you're retconning shit, Chris? You're literally Thanosing people? Okay, imagine that terrible sight. Chris-chan has the Reality Stone, which is completely fucking useless because Chris-chan could already warp reality before in his super form. Him and Sonichu did it to fucking transform the Asperchu characters, but whatever, fuck that, doesn't matter anymore. Chris has the Reality Stone. To undo the idea guy's major damage in Quickville and C-197 in general, and thus as MKR11217089, I hate you and your @ has been chronicling, Giovanni finally ended up with a near-perfect clone of Sonichu that he once again added darkness typing, the energies of Dusk Keystone. So we're getting a new Sonichu character apparently. We're getting a new evil Sonichu character soon. And a whole slew of personal touches, influences upon, including the available stat boosting candies that he paid handsomely for cargo loads of. So we're getting a new evil Sonichu soon that'll be better than Black Chew. I'm interested in that. To this day, Zappy and Blake. Who the fuck is Zappy? Who the fuck is Zappy? Oh, Zappy's the evil one? Imagine, the man who's gonna murder you, the man who will take over the world, the man who will show you no mercy, and his name is Zappy. Zappy Sonichu. That's the least intimidating name ever. You couldn't think of anything? At least Black Sonichu is more intimidating than Zappy Sonichu. I have yet to meet for a meet and greet, or even a brawl. of perfect dark typing clones. Blake had his stat boosting candies to the point of maxing out all of his stats years ago. So stat boosting is a thing with Sonichu. Sonichu can become even more OP by using stat candies. That's just something that can happen now. That's just something that can happen, and you have to accept that. You have to accept that that's our reality. Point is, for everyone's references, Black Sonichu, formerly known as... Oh, wait, sorry, I read that wrong. Blake Sonichu, it's such a big difference. Formerly known as Black Sonichu, has always been and still is a dark electric type Pokemon. So, and it's thank you, Lightning Heart Lightning. But I guess I would have to say the main thing we took away from this, and thank you guys for commenting. I'm glad so many people showed up. 83 people. Thank you guys. This is a shorter stream than what I normally do, but this is just one little Twitter thread that Chris Chan went on. So yeah, I guess the only useful information we got in all of this is that there's a evil hedgehog coming soon to Sonichu, and his name is Zappy. You better be afraid. You better be afraid, because Zappy will show no mercy. Zappy Sonichu is coming to Sonichu. God, I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know what we're gonna do to Zappy. Hey guys, Dylan here, and today we are going to be doing a Sonic Insanity. Today's Sonic Insanity is going to be talking about Chris Chan and his world of OCs. Now, for those of you guys who've been following Chris Chan, you may have seen his My Little Pony trading card game. I was going to do a separate video on that, and I might do it later. I don't know. I really don't care, because I lost interest in it. That's what I tend to do. I just lose interest in things. But what I do want to talk about is a lot of these strange OCs that have been appearing on his cards. This article will go over a lot of the OCs, but this video is also kind of a call out to anybody who does know Chris Chan shit and has access to the quickie to update this, because it's missing a lot of important OCs. So let's look at what this article has and see where it can improve. OC. Every original character begins in our sister dimension, C197, and stays there unless the OC is specified to mainly exist in an alternate dimension or timeline aside from C197. And we will be able to soon fully see them in the dimensional merge. And that was Chris Chan's quote about his stupid merge that's never gonna fucking happen. And then we have another quote. I recall that there was a mythos about me online. Myself, Chris Chan, I was an OC in my own stories. Was I real in this reality? That is Dimension 1218. And then I was confirmed in late 2007 that a blurry photograph of me in a moment of great shock and stress. And that was Chris claiming that he himself is an OC. An OC, short for original character, is a character in a fan work that didn't previously exist in any source material. In Chris's fantasy world, however, it is a term that refers to any residents in visions in Dimension C197, regardless of their original creator. Chris has also used this term to refer to himself as a goddess solely because he believes OCs originate in C197 dimension he rules over. Before this, Chris had created a huge multitude of characters in other franchises. And just a little heads up, before he started calling it C197, he actually would refer to it as the cartoon world. And the reason why he referred to it as that is because he got it from Roger Rabbit. He saw Roger Rabbit and saw all these fictional characters from different companies intermingling, and he took that as canon in his head, that there is an alternate reality where all the cartoon characters hang out. So this merge thing has been something he's been talking about for a while. He just didn't call it that. He's come up with new terms. Chris had created a huge multitude of other franchises, primarily the Sonic the Hedgehog canon, for at least a decade. Chris believed the possibility that all fictional characters may exist in an entirely separate dimension. However, this world would later transition him into believing that the universe is one big cartoon, where every living thing is actually a character of said cartoon. With this delusional mindset, people such as the Idea Guys fanned the flames of Chris's detachment from reality and further convinced him that it is possible to communicate with OCs. This page will attempt to list and describe all the OCs Chris incorporated from media he consumes and influences the idea guys Jacob Sockness and his true loyal fans have put into the community of beliefs. Now, we're going to be looking over these OCs. I'm going to read the most basic description of them, and I'll zoom in on some of the photographs when I see fit if they have a photo. Anime characters. Influence, the idea guys. Description, as a group deemed worthy recipients of prayer in belief of the OCs and deities without further qualifications. Dimension of origin, unknown. Comic debut, Sonichu 5. Asperchu, Alec Benson Leary. Ironically, the character that Chris once sought to destroy is now accepted as a Sonichu OC. And I think canonically he's known as Mitch. I don't know if Chris still goes with that, but Chris renamed him to Mitch and cured him of his Asperger's in the Sonichu continuity. But in Asperchu's continuity, Mitch is a separate character that is different from Asperchu. And the dimension of origin is unknown, and the comic book debut is non-existent, even though Asperchu has appeared in comics, and you need to update that because he has. He appeared in issue 10. Come on, keep up with your Sonichu shit. And then there's this new bitch called Astoria. I never even heard of her. I've never heard of this blue Sonichu looking thing ever in my life, this bubble Rosichu wannabe. Her creator is Pepper X Who. I don't fucking know. Pepper X Who. I know it's supposed to be Chew, but you don't spell Chew with an X. An electric water type Rosichu, said to live outside of Quickville, and does gardening as her hobby. Her gardening is apparently so good, all the plants shimmer in day and night. Her dimension is C197, and her comic debut is unknown. A.J. Farton, and the creator is unknown. How the fuck is he unknown? A My Little Pony OC, Chris discovered him and said that he's known for, oh no, I know this character, oh god. His apple juice farts really bad, and yet apple juice is his favorite beverage, a fucking fetish character. Hugh, probably a troll creation. After describing this character, Chris had to deny that he has a fart fetish, which he probably does. And the dimension is unknown, and the comic book debut is unknown. Battery Charge Heart, and let me show you this bitch. She looks very uncreative. She looks overly convoluted. And the C's are backwards, making it look like she's a fucking retard who doesn't know how to spell. But she is obviously a Christian white knight. She's got the Sonichu ball as her shield. She's got Christian's colors everywhere. And she shoots Sonichu balls, apparently. So, Battery Charge Heart CPU of Quickville, Virginia. So now Quickville, Virginia has a CPU, even though CPUs were supposed to represent consoles, not places on the map, but whatever. This character was created by the Idea Guys, and a god-like warrior of Quickville. Dimension C197, and she's going to appear in Sonichu 14. Boris. Let's take a look at Boris. And Boris is this weird, ugly, Snorlax Sonichu looking thing. He's not very creative at all. RPs only, so he... Wait, what? Is the creator RP, or was he existing in RPs? A shoddily drawn Sonichu that draws enemies in with a mysterious gravitational field. Dimension unknown and comic unknown. Carrie Kruger, which I had already talked about this before with the fucking stupid guy that was pretending to be her. Multi-dimensional White Knights made her, well, she's really a gumball character, but Multi-dimensional White Knight is the one who introduced her. A Ween pretending to be in C197, Dimension C197, non-existent. Cheval. Ooh, I want to see Cheval. He's a very overly convoluted OC. I don't know who would design their character like this. I like the idea of the flames, but you should decide if it's blue flames or not. Because this little crotch part where it's dark tan, that doesn't work. It's an interesting concept, but it just looks terrible in the end. Creator unknown. A fire electric steel type Sonichu with possible PTSD that lives in a lonely life due to the amount of unintended damage he causes around him. What the fuck does that even mean? What does he do? What's his power? He's fire electric, but that doesn't say anything. His dimension is unknown. His comic book appearance is unknown. Patty Chandler, or just all of Chris' deceased pets, apparently. Created by Chris, reincarnation of Patty and the deceased Chandler cats. Did he make the cats a character now? I don't see any proof of that, and I'm not clicking on that article because I already did 2 videos on that. Dimension C197 and appearing in Sonichu 6. Kristen Weston Chandler. Chris. Yes, Chris has proclaimed himself a goddess and believes that that the majority of men living in this planet should bow down and serve his will as one. And he is in Dimension 1218, which is our dimension, and he first appeared in Sonichu 0. Cindy Zapbud. Now, I never heard of this character, so this should be interesting. There's no photo associated, and if I look up this character and there's a photo associated, I'm going to be disappointed. Chris imagined this up out of spite towards Cole Smithy. In the Rosachu story fan comic, Cole is a Pokemon professor. Chris disapproved of this detail and claimed that Cole was later demoted due to flattering work that Cindy Zapbud replaced him. Chris made sure to note that Zapbud is 4'11" and has D-cup breasts because Chris is sexist. That's normal. She lives in C197 and her comic book debut is unknown. And CPU Goddesses. This is introduced by the Idea Guy. As a group, these anime fembots, they're robots? I didn't even know that. From a video game series were made the object of Chris's adulation under the Idea Guy's influence in late 2017. And together with Chris's own OCs from the nucleus of his mixed bag of pantheon, notable examples found on this list include Scarlet, the Commodore Goddess, and Battery Charge Heart. And her dimension is C197. Well, their dimension is C197. They're going to appear in Sonichu 14. Crizzle Rosachu. Now, Crizzle Rosachu is fucking annoying because I hate how her name is spelled. Introduced by the Idea Guy, created by the Idea Guy solely so that they can make Chris into a pedophork by having him marry her along with Magichan, Mewtwo, and Sylvania. And I wonder... Savannah, whatever. I hate her name. But I wonder if that's still canon, if this character still exists, if she's still underage, and if Chris still wants to consider her canon. That's interesting. Apparently, she exists in 1218, which is our dimension, and that's fucking stupid, because she's obviously not in our dimension. And she will appear in Sonichu 16 if he ever gets it done. CWC Psych-like. What the fuck is this? I never heard of this. That's literally just Chris. It says Christine Weston Chandler of Metropolis, Delaware. That's literally just Chris. This is just a repainted Chris. God, Chris's artwork's gotten worse. Chris's biographer, basically a personification of the Quickie, except that's a favorable to Chris, which would be the former Wikipedia. So he made a character modeled after the Wikipedia. That is dumb. Now we got Daedalus? I don't know what that is. It's a fucking weird rat thing with a wrench. And it is known, the guy who made it is Cedric F. And Daegu is a character created by the Kiwi Farms user, Cedric F. He is a very skilled mechanic that builds jets, armor, and weapons. And he is from Dimension X686. And his comic book appearance is unknown. The Dark Idea Guy. The Idea Guys. Chris believed that the Dark Idea Guy was plotting to invade Alcatraz through a crack in Chris's shower. That actually made me twitch for a second at how stupid that was, but I'll ignore it. First mentioned by Chris in October 2018, half a year after the Idea Guys had been removed from power, meaning that Chris is still referring to the old Idea Guys notes. And I hate that Jacob Sockness is literally doing shit extremely similar to the Idea Guys, and Chris just falls for it again because he's fucking gullible. Dimension unknown, comic book appearance unknown. And this is just fucking Ed Bighead, but I guess I'll pretend he's a different character. Darius, King of Babylon. Multi-dimensional white... Oh, it's that fucking asshole again. That stupid fucking person. Bastardization of Ed Bighead from Rocko's Modern Life. conflated with Persian king who conquered Babylon and threw Daniel into the lions. Who fucking cares? It's that fucking Christian white knight that made it. This is a character I actually did want to talk about, Derek Sonichu. Now, Derek looks just like Magichan, and that's because he is Magichan. Derek was made by that same guy from earlier, and he is another OC created by Cedric. He is the X686 counterpart of Magichan. So, yeah, it's Magichan from another dimension. He's a fucking recolor of a recolor. And Dr. Wolf, and dear God, this one's long. MLP persona of Brent Wilson, a YouTuber who reviews episodes of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, even though he has garnered a lot of attention from the Brony fanbase in 2013. Chris hasn't noticed him until mid-2018, when his experience at the 2018 BronyCon was blogged on his channel. Eventually, when Chris began getting blocked by several Twitter users, which I covered that, the Twitter blocking saga or lockout saga, Chris decided to use his persona in both a LEGO video and Sonichu special, where he lectures characters about the supposed psychological damage inflicted onto Chris, as Chris has reduced the character to being a stock doctor character in the comics. He's from Dimension C197 and appears in Sonichu Special 6, which I didn't know he's still doing the specials. And let's keep on going. Ember. Ember is that Danny Phantom character, but I guess is a different character, and that fucking image quality is terrible. But creator unknown, punk female Sonichu, dimension unknown, appearance unknown. Exiled Sonichu. That's a stupid name. These are so uncreative. What did I expect from Christian fans? Exiled Sonichu, Shadow's retarded cousin. Exiled Draco. Oh, I know the Exiled Draco. I know him. How do I know him? Oh my god, I've been around the Christian fan base too long. I know that guy. A black Sonichu that Chris claimed to have attempted to assassinating him. Yeah, I remember this guy. Fate, Teen Troon Squad. A Pikachu later evolved into Raichu that Chris met at Target in October 2018, likely created by the Teen Troon Squad, as Fate was only mentioned during the time frame Chris was in contact with them. Fate's purpose was to work with the squad and Chris on the merge, which is fucking dumb, and was a watchdog tasked with killing non-believers, and they did such a good job. All the non-believers are still alive. A convenient reason as to why Chris wasn't allowed to give details. And they are in C197, and they did not make a comic appearance. Gabriel. I've never heard of Gabriel either, but I recognize that art style. That definitely looks like the real Sonichu's art style. Super Crazy Crash, a Sonichu Caesar hybrid that works as a bartender at a place called Zany Zapbud. He is believed to be a long-lost member of the Chaotic Combo, as he was born from the same rainbow that created them, like every fucking Sonichu. All the Sonichus are created from the rainbow, mostly. Gary Stu. Now, this is a character I've actually been seeing a lot of. It's a stupid My Little Pony OC. This is on Chris's Twitter a lot, so hopefully this video explains something to you about that. Created by Chris, even though not really. A male pony created during the Soft Exile, with heavy inspiration from Mad Munchkin's Mary Sue character, without realizing that she was originally made to be a joke character for a single video. Much like Mary, he is perfect in every way and always knows the right thing to do. He is in C197 and his comic book appearance is unknown. And this is a fan favorite. A fan favorite character indeed, Hitler Chew. Hail me, I am now a Sonichu. This is a fan favorite. I've been asked to do videos on Hitler Chew for a long time. His creator is the Idea Guys, leading member of the National Socialist German Workers' Party from 1920, Chancellor of Germany from 1933, and President of 1934 to his suicide in 1945, transformed into a Sonichu like his entire political party during Monika's defeat at the Battle of Quickville to ruin any claim of pure Aryan blood. And he is in Dimension 1218, so Hitler Chew exists in our reality. And he was supposed to appear in issue 13, and I don't know if he will. I don't know if issue 13 is canon or not. One day I'll have to do a video just talking about that. Holly Hook, And this is not an original character. It is literally just a Raichu. It's just a sexualized Raichu. That's all that is. Created by Kelly S. Some sort of electric fairy type Rosachu cat hybrid that doesn't like to be touched, but is very fast and nimble. She is known to be first is beauty pageants. Wait, what? She is known to be first is beauty pageants with her fashion choices. That grammar. Someone fucking fix that. That's terrible. The fact that I had to fuck up on that because you didn't put in. You put is. No one's checking this. Dimension unknown. Comic book appearance unknown. Ig, Nig, Not, and and they are from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Multi-dimensional White Knights, of course. I'm gonna skip it because I don't care. Fuck them. Fuck the multi-dimensional White Knights. I already did a video on that. J-Chew. Let's take a look at J-Chew. This is a mixture of Sonichu and Angelica. That is literally what he is, and I am terrified to know why there are jets in the background. The Sonichu persona Chris drew of the Captain, which was one of the trolls that were protecting Chris at a time, depicted as what deems to be a flying wonder. Unfortunately, the Captain didn't appreciate being shoehorned into Chris's fantasy land, and made a Kiwi Farms post to show his disapproval. Yeah, he really didn't like Chris's delusions. He lives in C-197, and his comic book appearance is unknown and probably won't happen. This is another popular one, thanks to Jacob Sockness the Human Blob being popular. This is Jacoba, his totally original and not plagiarized from religion character. Jacob Sockness, an evil god of rock hats, monstrous representation of Jacob, who is already a monstrous representation of a human, who made his comic debut in Sonichu 14, even though that's not done yet. C-197 is where he's in, and he'll appear in Sonichu 14, if that ever comes out. Jesus Christ, God and the Bear is listed as his creator. Demoted to be the same status as everyone else on the list by Chris, and believe that the OCs and deities deemed unworthy to worship Chris. Unknown, and he will appear in Sonichu 10. He already appeared in Sonichu 10, apparently. I think Jesus appeared before that, too. He appeared in, fantasy scenes. Johnson Wiles, the Idea Guys, alias of the Idea Guy, Joshua Wise, who cares? Kepler, who's this? It's another shadow-looking character. Weird. And it's made by that same guy again. Created by Cedric, the name itself was based off a Kiwi Farms poll. The character is 6'8", whatever, that dimension of Blake. So it is Black Sonichu, with a Ditto DNA added that allows him to reshape his body. We already have that with fucking Savannah. Into weapons. He can shapeshift, so he's like T-1000, into demonic entity with heavy inspiration from Gygas from the Mother series, and invade your dreams. He's in that fucking X686 dimension, and his comic book appearance is unknown. And then we've got Kun T. Nougat, the Idea Guys, and it's a shitty pony, so I'm not clicking on it. A Vietnamese pony who is Nightstar's sweetheart and likes to cook and tinker with technology. Lives in C-197, will appear in Sonichu 12-9. Lightning Quartz, Chris. An earth pony Chris claims to have unconsciously created in Brazil area of Equestria while meditating. Occasionally, he will transform into the most powerful alicorn for a short time. I don't know what that is, and I don't fucking care. He lives in C-197, and he hasn't appeared in a comic. Liliana. I'm gonna go Liliana. She's a pink Rosachu with long hair. Rose Lilychu, the head princess of the Temple of Heart, where she teaches those lucky enough to find it about the Ancient Prophecy. And I need to do a video just talking about the Ancient Prophecy later. She lives in C-197, and her comic book debut is unknown. Luca Sonichu, Teen Truant Squad. The Sonichu avatar of Lucas, one of the members of the Teen Truant Squad. They exist in this dimension despite being a Sonichu, and they have not appeared in a comic book. Oh god, Magichan. Why is Magichan's bio so fucking long? Magichan Sonichu, the most well-known member of the Chaotic Combo. He is an omnipotent Sonichu with infinite magical powers. Of course, with Chris's current stance on all things occult and supernatural, it was only a matter of time before trolls and weens alike would use his character to exploit his psyche. In mid-2017, by this time, Chris became infatuated with the character of the Idea Guys, knew that this was a perfect opportunity to turn this against him. By this time, they've been making up all kinds of stories about the character in such situations as incestuous homosexual marriage. Afterward, Chris has finally declared his love quest over, having been married to both his creation as well as Mewtwo. And he exists in C197 and has appeared since Sonichu issue 3. Mary Sue, Mad Munchkin, a joke character produced by Mad Munchkin to represent her hatred of the Alicorn OCs. She is well known for her conceited nature and her belief that she is truly the greatest pony. Chris decided to ship this character with his own creation, Gary Stu. C197 is where they're from, and they have not appeared in any comics. Misty Chew. Now this one actually looks a little bit unique. Let's take a look at Misty Chew. I actually like Misty Chew's design. It's not too terrible. It's a little bit too complicated, but it's an alright design overall. At least they're trying to do something different with the generic Sonichu template. Misty Chew, a Knight Rosachu that is stronger than any Metonic or human knight, and they are from a dimension unknown and have not appeared in any comic. Mac Tonight, and I don't even need to introduce Mac Tonight or Moon Man. Ah, God, fuck that. We're skipping over anything from multi-dimensional oh, hey, Jacob Sockness is there too. But fuck the multi-dimensional White Knights. I'll go with Sockness. Working with Jacoba. That's the only connection, so fuck him. Night Star. That's Chris's shitty pony OC, and she is very popular if you read Ben Saint's comic, where she is the villain. Chris's My Little Pony self-insert. That's the only definition they've got. Lives in C197 and has appeared in Sonichu 12.9. Night V, and I've done a video on Night V's creator. You can go on my White Knight series if you want to see that. A lot of White Knight characters on here. A combination of the Sega character Knights and the Pokemon Eevee. Megan successfully convinced Chris that her fan character was canon to the Sonichu universe by pretending to be a goddess herself. And this character exists in C197 and has not appeared in any comics yet, but probably will because Chris keeps drawing her, and this is Chris's drawing right here. And Noel. Oh god, I just did a whole video about Noel. Let me see. That's a whole description of this. I guess I'll say Noel. Description is watch my video that came out like 3 fucking days ago. There. Watch my Noel video. My Noel Sonic Insanity. Watch it, because that's literally all it's saying here. Dimension 1218, even though he's clearly a pony, and appears in Sonichu 12.9. Pending Doom. I think this was... Yeah, that's a Megan character. I talked about this during the Pokemon original cards episode. Like the Wall of Originals. I mentioned this character and said they never did anything. Highly inspired by one of Megan's OCs, Dimension Unknown, comic book appearance unknown. Pepper Chew. Who the fuck is Pepper Chew? I've never seen Pepper Chew. It's just... It looks like Magichan, but it's a female Pikachu. What the fuck? And the cheek pouches are giant. It's an emo fucking Sonichu. Pepper Chew, created by Pepper X Chew. Oh, hey, it's that same person from earlier. The Sonichu persona, a Twitter user, Pepper Chew. A gothic, book-smart Rosachu. Of course, that's not Rosachu. For Rosachu, it's a Raichu that is female. It's not a female Sonichu. You're wrong on that. Who is best friends with Astoria. She is well-adjusted in self-defense and quick wits, of course. She lives in C197 and comic book appearance unknown. Pepsi Man, unknown. Japanese mascot for Pepsi. Appearance unknown, universe unknown. Is this... No, we're not near the end yet. Fuck. And this is a new one. It looks like a white Christian Sonichu. That's all it looks like, is a white Christian Sonichu. I don't see any difference. Perceptor, the idea guys. Another long-lost chaotic combo member with no real defining traits beside that she is very smart and never feel... Oh, she's a female Sonichu, okay. And never feels aroused at anything. She also has a mission to completely obliterate the Nazi party of C-197. Very good motives, and she's from C-197 and hasn't appeared in a comic yet. This is one of Ben Saint's characters, Phantom Horn, and it is created by Ben Saint, and it's Ben Saint's Pony OC. And they exist in C-197, and they were going to appear in Sonichu Special 7. I didn't know Chris was doing a special based off of Ben Saint's comic. Didn't know that. Plotted device. Creation unknown. A robotic magician with Magichan soul, created in the Skullgirls dimension. Apparently created after it was found that the dimension's conditions were too much for Magichan, so the robot was made in his image. That's fucking dumb. And it lives in dimension S642 and hasn't appeared in any comics. Poppy. And it was created by Sonichu for Life. Let's take a look at this character. Yeah, it looks about as original as you thought it would. Rosachu, who... That's not a Rosachu. No, this is obviously a Pichu. Whatever. A Rosachu, who is a soccer fanatic and a player of Quickville Strikes. Much like the other characters on this list, she has the powers that cannot be matched, such as super speed and endurance, because of course. Her dimension is unknown, and her comic book appearance is non-existent. Ray. Rosachu. R. Rosachu. Grass-based... Rosachu with dragon-based attacks, of course. Universe unknown, comic book appearance not happening. Robert Chu. This is Chris's deceased father, who he's made into a Sonichu. He was originally plaid, but now he's just pure red, because Chris didn't want to draw spots. Chris was convinced that his late father's spirit resides in C-197, just like his dog. During the Idea Guy saga, Bob's Sonichu form may have... This designed by the Idea Guy. He is in the form of a beaver. Why beaver? Impossible nod to Bob's internet lumberjack nickname. Yeah, but that's not really a Sonichu if he's a beaver. Featured in Sonichu 16, in which Bob meets and befriends Ted Bundy. Yes, Bundy Chu. We'll get to him in a minute. His fur was originally red with... Oh, they mentioned that. But Chris got tired of drawing it. He exists in 1218, even though he's currently deceased and only appears in the comics, which is a different universe, and will appear in Sonichu 13. And now we get to Romeo, and I think I don't like this character at all, just by looking at how they wink. Made by Midnight Moonflower, a charismatic Sonichu, not a Sonichu. He is a male Rosachu. He has a fucking Raichu tail. What's even the point of these classifications if no one fucking follows him? Who picks up women with relative ease, said to be named after his trainer, who was a lovely theater kid. Universe is unknown, and comic book appearance is not happening. Rosachu, created by Chris, mentioned beside Sonichu as OC especially deserving of worship and believe the OCs and deities. Lives in C-197, appear in Sonichu 0. And Sarah and Steve Chu. I did a video on Sarah and Steve. They're part of the White Knight series. Go check it out. These are their totally original characters, and they both look like shit. One's a Cream the Rabbit recolor, and one's just bad. And they were created by Sarah and Steve on November 6, 2019. Sarah and Steve planted the idea guy of Sarah Chu and Steve Chu, and I guess that's not wrong, in Chris's head, who used his psychic powers to see them in C-197. They exist in C-197, and they're never going to appear in a comic book, but they didn't even put it in A. They just literally just left it blank. Scarlet, which is literally just Chris's god form, so fuck it, I don't care, I'm not going to zoom in on it, it's just Chris again. The idea, guys, Chris's depiction of himself as a CPU goddess of the Commodore Nation, exists in C-197, appears in Sonichu 14. Scott Sound Splicer. Now, I've seen this guy around. but I have no idea who the fuck he is. I think he's a Ben Saint character. Created by Sound Splicer. Who the fuck is Sound Splicer? Don't just say that name like I know him. A drawn representation of a YouTuber, Sound Splicer. I don't know who that is. Lives in 1218 and hasn't appeared in any comics. Shadow Alaya, the in-game's friend. A friend of Chris's Pokemon Club requested Chris to draw him as a Shadow Pokemon. Chris then believed he drew it. Shadow Alaya was therefore real in C197. Chris also believed he was told by the idea guys that Shadow Alaya is a villain. And they have no drawing for him. He exists in C197 and hasn't appeared in a comic. Siddhartha, I'm sorry for whatever religion this is. I don't care. Unknown, most commonly known as the Buddha, though this title is rather than an identifying name. He is usually worshipped by his followers, yet is indicated by Chris and believed the deities and OCs to be an object of such among which. And dimension is unknown and comic book appearance is unknown. Slurp Chew, which is something that is made of nightmares if nightmares tried to look like Sans Undertale on crack. Creator unknown, a dinky mint green Sonichu, which has an incredibly small body, stubby limbs, and a permanent grin. Dimension unknown, comic book appearance not happening. Sushi. That is a very un-Chris character to draw. I wonder who he's based after. Chris, a geeky ferret character that likes to play video games and trolling people, possibly based on the original character of Sonichu Mania mod. Oh, the guy who's making Sonichu Mania, he made a character to represent him. He exists in C187 and he hasn't appeared in any comics. Snowchew, and she has the ability to be a slutty Pokemon. She is created by Chansey Draws, a Rosachu cheerleader obsessed with anything with ears that glows red. Dimension unknown, comic book appearance not happening. Sonichu, created by Chris, is the one who started it all back in 2000. He is known to have entered our dimension as of early as Chris's confrontation with Mary Lee Walsh. Exists in C197, was created in Sonichu 0. Strawberry Milk, created by Ben Saint, Phantom Horn's perverted dragon friend that tells inappropriate sex jokes. Exists in C197 and in Ben Saint's comic book dimension, and will appear in Sonichu Special 7. Sturbinchu. It's literally just a recolor of Sonichu, but he looks like he's super. The idea guys. One of the 69 destined Sonichu and Rosachus. Ha ha ha, you're so funny. Inspired by Y's catalog by Chris and the name from Germans, who fucking cares, as a now meaning dying, a rather mundane Sonichu that has the appearance of supersonic and the uncanny ability to clone himself indefinitely. He exists in C197 and his comic book appearance is not happening. And here is a fan favorite, yet again, one people have been wanting me to cover for a long time, Bundy Chew. Yes, Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy Sonichu. People have been fucking crazy about this for a long time. I'm finally talking about him. He was created by the Idea Guys, a notorious serial killer and rapist of the 1970s, but as a Sonichu, the Idea Guys convinced Chris that he was among the 69 destined Sonichu and Rosachus produced besides the more familiar characters like Wild Sonichu, Magichan Sonichu, in Sonichu 0. And he exists in C197, sadly enough, and he will appear in Sonichu 13 if that is even still canon. Teddy Chew is one that I've been seeing going around lately. I have no idea what this is. It looks like a clown. A bear-type Sonichu and also a shadow that came to life in the media found in C197. Don't ask how that makes any sense. It doesn't make any fucking sense. And it's created by Josh Shu. And it exists in C187 and has not appeared in any comics. Tricky Chew, which I've talked to her. She's a really cool person. She made Rosachu's story, really good artist. She's really cool. She gave me a retro pie. She's a pretty cool woman. But Tricky Cat is the creator of Tricky Chew, and Created by Tricky Cat, the author of Rosachu's story, an android cat made out of the love and magic and chaos energy with the ability to create and destroy anything at will and even entire galaxies. Exists in unknown and won't appear in any comics anytime soon. VHS, created by Pepper Chew again, a retro-themed Sonichu that I fucking hate, and exists in Dimension Unknown and won't appear in any comics because it lacks originality. Vivichu, and that is definitely a Pichu, and maybe Chris is more sane than these stupid people. Created by Vivichu 2000, a stereotypical teenage female Pichu. So this one's a Pichu, but that one earlier was listed as being a Sonichu. People need to fucking relabel this shit because they're obviously wrong. Dimension Unknown, comic book appearance not happening. Were-chan. Were-chan looks fucking disturbing. I would never want to run into this in my wildest nightmares. Made by Replay with spaced out like it's a retrowave fucking album. And a Rosachu that is a werehog, which not really, has the unnatural red eyeballs and apparently has a thing for drinking beer. When Chris first shared this OC on Twitter, several people joked about her possible usage of marijuana due to the appearance of her eyes. That's probably the joke behind it. Universe unknown and comic book appearance not happening. You, Chris. Yes, you two are an OC according to Chris, as an assortment of characters in this list shows, though it is not quite clear that what he means to entail. Depends on who you are. And comic book appearance not happening. Zeus, created by king of the ancient pagan gods in Greece and Rome, his worship extinct since the 5th century AD, is revived by Chris in Believe the OCs and Deities, and universe unknown and not appearing in any comics. So yeah, that was everything. That was all the OCs they had here. They're missing a lot. They need all the chaotic combo, a lot of characters from Sonichu, a lot of fucking characters need to be added to this. There's so many trolls on Twitter, so many trolls in real life that need to be added. This needs a lot of updating. So if you have the ability to go on the quickie and you actually pay attention to Christory, please update this because it's really, really, really lacking. And I know there's a tag saying that, so yeah. Hey guys, Dylan here. Now, today we are going to be doing a stream talking about some of the interactions Chris-chan has had with S&T. Now, to give you a little bit of context on who S&T is, a year ago, she did a video where she redesigned Sonichu and Rosachu. And Chris-chan actually really liked these redesigns. Let's fast forward to the point where she shows them both off. These are her redesigns of Sonichu and Rosachu. And the designs really aren't too different than what Chris had originally. They're still both obviously the Pokemon they're supposed to be, just with a slightly updated look. Well, Chris really liked these designs, and this is his opinion on the design. I couldn't find the tweet itself or wherever this came from, so I am reading this from the quickie. Just watched this video. I appreciated and liked her redesign. She did really well for her own Sonichu and Rosachu interpretations. I ended up linking with Sonichu in our sister dimension. He was a typical Soni in his group of Sonis, Sonichus, Rosachus, and Rosies. He was surprised to find that he had evolved, which was simultaneous with S&T drawing that redesign at the start. That he ended up visually different from the other Sonichus, and at the same time said for Rosie in the other dimension area a few miles away that became Rosachus she designed. She was surprised as well, being different from the other Rosachus, and yes, there are other Rosachus and Sonichus. By the way, in the wild, Sonichus do get their typical pair of shoes and socks and gloves, information only Chris thought you would care about, when they evolve. So, the Sonichu was thrown off with the boots, but the blue gloves and upturned quills, the quills on all the Sonichu and Rosachus are resistant to static electricity, are not likely to become upturned to look similar to Supersonic or the Super Sonichu Mega Evolution forms. Oh, so he had already decided on that being a Mega Evolution form at this point. I already did a video on that too. Same with Rosachu's. No, that supersonic plush modification look goes to Sturbanchu? Who the fuck is Sturbanchu? I don't know who the fuck that is. Anyway, on Rosachu in the wild, when they evolve, they get their typical dress and boots. No one cares. But the ones at wild typically prefer to be nude. Okay, so apparently they want to be nude running around. Okay. Leaving the boots on for the latter. So their attire is customizable of the trainer who catches one. That would be terrifying to see these furries running around naked and you have to catch them. That'd be fucking weird. This one Rosachu evolved and got ears. Okay, so what Chris is saying, just so you know, that he's saying that her redesigns of the characters aren't actually the characters. That they are different Sonichu and Rosachus. And this is similar to what he did with Asperchu. He's like, I acknowledge that you did this, and this is your own interpretation. But here's why you're wrong, and there are different characters who just so happen to look like my characters. Now, S&T did a follow-up video, December 6th, where she redesigns all of the chaotic combo. And I'll show you the finalized versions of them. Does she show them all on screen? Yes, she does. And she ended up basing them off of Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, she stands over them. What a terrible thing to do. She's over designs. Oh well, it's not needed. I'll show them on Twitter. She redesigned all of these characters on Twitter. This is her Angelica. This is her Magichan. This is her Punchy. This is her Wild and Bubbles. And she spent a lot of time redesigning these characters. Well, Chris gave the reaction you expect Chris to give. I only wish I could like this, but I'm really unable to. And this is where shit got crazy. This is where the spurg out that you expect Chris to have happens. Chris tweets out, pain. ... pain. And then someone asks, are you okay? Did something happen? Don't give Chris attention. Don't... wait, what? Is that Cedric? Cedric, why? Why? I know that guy, sadly. Feel well, I not. Oh yeah, this is when Chris had the Yoda virus. Gibby came up with that name, and I'm taking it, because it's fucking hilarious. I think someone in the comment section came up with that name, but I love it. Chris caught the Yoda virus recently, and he's unable to talk right. So this is why he is speaking like this. Feel well, I do not. Rest I need. Head hurts. Hurts head. UTI acting up. P waiting to. No, feeling not I well am. Yes, recover. I will be will. Fuck, my brain is fucking with this. Recover, I will. Fuck, I did it again. Recover, I be will. I hate talking backwards, because my brain automatically reorganizes it. This is the fucking struggle of having dyslexia. I fucking hate it. Super stressed, ears, Pachirichu round, face got to me, email received, Project S&T, vent with. Expected Courtney did, then better, that I napkin. I'm sorry, I tried to read it. I suck at it. I can't do the fucking reverse talk of his Yoda speak. And then fucking Cedric says, you look sorta like Sockness, lol. I don't know why he responded with that. And then someone says, I hope you feel less pain. And he said, thank you. I am recovering, still feeling off. At least I'm not jumbling my words. So that's him after he got over the Yoda virus. Night last troubling, still me. Up shook I not am, only still. Virus possible, rest. Need I, bed in I am. Everyone, else to everyone. Want laugh all you. This serious is very. Night last I told last while long will stress this. r/I had stroke. Best response to Chris's rambling. Pain. So, after that stupid shit, because these tweets are deleted or I couldn't find them, I'll have to read this. This is from the quickie yet again. It's more of the shit involving S&T. Like this eye, ears me, killed Pachirisu, round face. Job good drawing, unusual as. Expected trigger, I not did. Check did email, your eye, pray you have. Safe good, and have they are. And then a few hours later, he tweeted this, and this will be the last thing I think I have to do. Yeah, this is the last one I have to read. This is the only other tweet I couldn't find. This video triggered me bad. Nothing to do with the comments or opinions of the others, or her drawing style, but yeah, a lot of choices on the redesigns triggered me bad. So Chris saying that he didn't like the redesigns at all, now since he's finally speaking English again, and I don't have to fuck up his Yoda speak. And then Chris tweets out this. I love this, and this is response to someone's Sonichu design for S&T, which is Project S&T's fan character. He said, I love this, although I was expecting Project S&T to personally design an S&T Sonichu or Rosichu, but this is quite good. I pray that she will discover this piece and retweet it soon. So Chris wants S&T to do her own S&T Chu. This is what their S&T Chu looked like. He wants Courtney to get involved in this shit, because he's obsessing over Courtney now. And he says, off topic, the cold I got from the virus taking advantage of the trigger is affecting my voice. I wish I could hear his voice. I hope he sounds like Yoda. And then someone tells Chris, I hope you get better quickly. Maybe I'm too neurotypical to appreciate your vulnerability to Courtney's lovely redesigns, but I find it so peculiar. Of all the people who watched that video, the only person I am aware who got triggered was you. And Chris said, well, I did get epic triggered from Courtney's redesign choices on 4 out of 5 of them. They actually are more over separate individuals in the redesign. So what he's trying to do is, yet again, like he did last year, where he says that the characters she redesigned are not his characters. They are separate characters that live in Quickville that happen to look like that. And this is Chris's way of rejecting people's artistic liberties when they redesign his characters. It happened with Asperchu, and it happened here. He does not accept it, which does throw me off. The only exception is the punchy Sonichu redesign, the worst culprit being the wild Sonichu redesign. He needs his leaf for better gliding and flight than Large Tail ever could, so he's bitching about how she redesigned the tail. And Sonichu's ears are typically long, yet regardless of this, apparently there is something deeper than that just sets off my subconscious worse than anything. That moment at Too Many Games where I went hedgehog... Wait, what? Where I went hedgehog. What the fuck does that mean? Worse than that, this resonated a reminder of my subconscious that was like hell to me, and I still racking my brain around this, trying to figure out why myself. Neck down, the image is not offensive to me at all. Neck up, triggered. So he doesn't like the redesign of the face for some reason. Like, the face is what pisses him off. He doesn't like that she changed what type of Pokemon he was. And, someone says, hold up, aren't you a goddess? How come you're vulnerable to something as weak as a common cold? Use your powers to fix it already. And he replies with, I'm still learning my better magics and powers. I have been able to stave off the viral infection for months. The virus snuck in. That's not how that works. While I was hyper stressed from being extensively triggered by Project S&T's redesign video. So it fucked him up that much that he got sick from it. Okay. Her redesigns upset him so much it gave him a cold. And he says, hey y'all, update on this cold. It's giving me nasal problems now, and it still lingers in my throat. It does not feel as bad as earlier. Also, I have found the reasoning behind the triggering of Project S&T's redesign of the Chaotic Combo. There was a disturbance in their dungeon and dragons, like home dimension of CS89, that's the dimension he gives them now, CS89, which is literally the main home of the Plutia, I'll say that, and Pishi and CPU leadership over... who fucking cares? Anyway, there has been a number of migrations of individuals and items from CS89 to C197, his dimension faded or forced. Even entire dungeon cave areas were being relocated via high magic from there. So Chris is taking shit from this dimension and adding it to his dimension because he thinks it's cool. I'm projected there as a cleric working and analyzing. So Chris, just like when he became the Red Spy, now he's a cleric in the other dimension because Chris always has to get mixed up in everything. Finding solutions before something really bad could happen to CS89. This seems to be the right path, as I am finding less visual offense with Magichan Solana differences not triggering. Go figure, a subconscious trigger event being called from another dimension. And he says, anywho, I'm about to get some food for this body, check back later. And then he says, by the way, at Project S&T, I found out what it was about your wild Sonrisu's face and tail that was really bugging me. Turns out he reminded me of Rocat Grunts. Apparently CS89 was getting its magical item stolen. We managed to resolve the problem and I can look at Sonrisu without even flinching anymore. So he's trying to come up with some retconned explanation to why he didn't like him. And apparently it's because he looked like some type of thing. He looked like some type of grunt, some evil thing in the other dimension. That's what he's trying to retcon it as. Here it is. Okay, this was his original reasoning. Okay, so this is the original reason why he didn't like the character design. This is why he said the design triggered him originally. So he retconned it to be that it looked like some type of evil grunt. When originally he said, I can't even bear to look at it directly, it's freaking bothering me worse than hell. The only theory I can gather is that it reminds me of someone really awful intentions or design, but at the moment, it just badly reminds me of Dave the Intern and Justin Bieber. So that was his original reasonings to why he didn't like the character, because it looked like two Sonic Boom characters. That was his reasoning, and then he changed it to that it looked like some type of grunt. So he made this stupid retcon that it looked like some evil grunt for no apparent reason. I don't know why he did that. But Chris being Chris, he instantly, after all this, and he got so much backlash, apologized, saying, I want to publicly announce that I am really sorry for how I reacted to S&T's redesign. They are very good, and so is her video. And then he tweets out, Hello Kitty, I am sorry, and it's crying. And then he ends all of this off with, I love this, D&D team fully approved, S&T, although if you're still upset at me, I can understand and empathize. I still apologize for my initial outburst. Please respond and let me know how you are feeling. So he wants S&T to respond to him now, and I think he's going to stalk S&T, just like he did with Doopy Do-Over. I think he's really obsessing with S&T, and he couldn't even edit out the white bits right there. It's so lazy. He sells these cards too, and he can't edit out the white bits. But yeah, he wants to get into S&T now, and he responded to her calendar thing right here, her art, and then he said you could make a calendar for your art for the next year. So he wants her to make a calendar. I wouldn't be shocked if this is leading into the Chris stalking S&T arc, just like how the Chris stalking Doopy Do-Over arc happened. And so yeah, that was all of the information about the Sonichu reboot and how Chris reacted to it. The fact that someone actually tried to take his piece of garbage and make it into something creative and try to put their own twist on it, it offended him. And Chris acted the way you expect Chris to act.